Who goes live on the internet?
I know.
In a Las Vegas suite, no less.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ballers.
Woohoo!
Vegas, everyone.
We're live. Hello, internet.
Hello.
We are here in Vegas,
Howdy, howdy.
and this is the pre-show of the Full Nerd, where we're going to talk about our experiences at CES 2026. I almost said 2025, but we're already in the new year.
Yep.
I just saw Steve Aoki crossing through in some booths, and I think he was contagious.
What? Why?
Look at my clothes.
Oh, okay. I was like, really? Are you saying he's a super spreader or something? He's like, you're like outing him on the.
Already got the flu
No.
I've managed to dodge it so far, but the last time I was here was right before COVID. So
So you got to describe all what's going on here. Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of an homage to Gordon, actually, because,
Did Gordon ever wear something like that?
huh?
Did Gordon ever wear something like that?
He wore, so the when was this? Like 2016, 2013?
2017.
2017. We used to do a show called CES After Dark.
Yeah, I remember that.
Where people would show up at night.
Yeah, he was on it.
Yeah,
I was on it.
do stuff. Everyone was shipped out by that point. It was Gordon, Adam, and myself.
Right.
And Tyler.
And Tyler, yeah. And we like got loose and sat there with 3-foot-tall margaritas, and Gordon had a beanie hat covered in dollar bills. And it was kind of the spiritual precursor to Full
I
Nerd.
remember that. Yeah.
So I was hoping to do this last year. COVID prevented me from coming, so here's to the Full Nerd.
Yeah. Yeah, we're here. And I'm just super jealous. So
Should be.
yeah.
No, I get it.
I
I get
my
it.
own, yeah. Also, that alcohol's not going to drink itself.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah.
That's not Hawaiian Punch, is it?
Hawaiian
I don't think so.
Spiked Hawaiian Punch. Actually, I'll say real quick as spoilers. I have yet to try the hard Baja Blast. So
It's good.
spiked Baja Blast. Yeah. Oh, you've tried it?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I love Baja Blast. So I am very much looking forward to this. But my wife is going to be very jealous.
I'm amazed they didn't just call it the Baja Blasted.
Oh, missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Mike
Whoa.
with the jokes over
Yeah, that
here.
was good. I
I'm
like
too
that.
tired, man.
Brandy.
You can't throw these jokes around.
I hit the drum sound, but you guys can hear it.
Oh,
wow, there
nice.
you go.
Yeah, we got
Nice.
the sound pad.
Yeah. It's a soundboard.
Okay, well, tired check. How tired are you guys? How you feeling?
I'm pretty tired, but also pretty jazzed because I love CES. I love running around in the desert when I come from Boston. It's been 18 degrees, and I love seeing all the new stuff and seeing y'all. So I'm tired as hell, but I'm glad to be here. So
I was more tired an hour ago for whatever reason. I was just like, I was.
You got your
on-
second win.
And the pep and the beverage. I'm not gonna actually. I guess we're not endorsing anybody here, but yes.
I'm
that's right,
endorsing
yeah.
Four Loco actually.
Four Loko?
Yeah,
There you go,
I
yeah.
wish Four Loco would
A little
sponsor us.
sponsorship. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so I feel pretty good now. We'll have to see where I am in half an hour.
Nice. Yeah. Mike.
I have to admit I was pretty rough yesterday because for whatever reason the people in the room next to me had like a 3 a.m. meeting with somebody on the other side of the planet, and
Nice.
they were very boisterous. But I got good sleep last night, and I've had a lot less actually on my schedule today, so I'm doing good.
I fly out in the morning. I'm not actually sure if I'm gonna sleep tonight. We're gonna figure that out after
Are you
this.
you gonna do your thing?
Yeah, definitely, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Do your thing.
This ain't gonna drink itself, and those craps ain't gonna play itself either.
Exactly.
so.
Yeah, you're getting started here, and the party is gonna roll all night long. Speaking of which, yeah. So we're just in the pre-show. We're just chilling, making sure the hamsters are spinning on the hotel Wi-Fi. How's it looking, Willis?
Looking good. Hi, I have the webcam.
Oh, that's funny. Nice. And how's everyone doing at home? We got a different crowd than usual. Hello, Row Monster 300ZX Turbo. Star Screamus, what's going on? Davina, and we got all the cool kids.
Hey, y'all.
All the cool kids in the chat. What do you think, Willis? You think we're ready to roll? Ready to rock and roll?
Ready to rock. Let's do this.
All right.
You can sort of see in my webcam.
I know.
Vegas background.
Yep.
So we are in Vegas. We're live at CES.
Actually, here.
After dark.
Nice. All right.
Yep.
Cool. So what am I gonna say? We'll do it live. Here we go.
Vegas
Do
style.
you know what episode we're on?
Hey, that's a great question, Mark. Yeah. Don't you hate that when PR people are just like, that's a fantastic question after every question?
That's a great question, and I'm going to dodge it.
Yeah. All right. No, I just looked, so thank you. You ready? In this episode of The Full Nerd, we recap CES 2026.
got used to hearing the music at home. Not hearing it here is weird.
And welcome to episode 380 of the Full Nerd Podcast, PC World's premier podcast about PC building news. We are live here from CES. I am your fill-in host, Adam Patrick Murray, but I am not alone. I've got four distinguished gentlemen in front of me. But first up, to my left, is one co-host, Brad Charkis, looking stylish.
Hey, how's it going? Doing my best to be a distinguished gentleman.
Yeah, and a very, very tall drink. That's probably, 4 feet?
3. It's a
3
yard.
feet.
It's called a yardzilla.
Oh, yard. Yeah. Do we measure that in America? Yeah.
I dropped out of high school.
Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
exactly.
Okay. And then next to him, we got one Mark Hockman.
Hey guys, how are you?
And then down over on the other end, we have one Michael Kreider in the flesh.
Howdy, howdy. I am real. I am not AI generated, and now I can prove it.
I'm pumped about that. I've worked with Mike for 3 or 4 years, and I have not met him until this week myself. So
4 years
I had
and
questions.
change. Most of the people here I'm meeting for the very first time, and actually, the only one that I had met before was Adam, and just a month ago in New York City, he came out.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you out here. I mean, CES, we're at CES 2026. We're going to cover the news. We're going to go over our best picks, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, it is really good to have you here, part of the team. So I think first, before we start, let's do a toast to the show so far. I have a beverage in hand. I don't know if what you guys are going to drink, but let's.
I need
let's
2
toast.
hands.
Top off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What toast? Here we go. Drinking.
Brad, what are you drinking?
It's called a yardzilla. It is a 3-foot-tall margarita in order of the spiritual precursor to the Full Nerd. Me and Gordon had a fun show like this from CES many, many years ago.
Heck yeah. Speaking of Gordon, I also brought Gordon's Coors Light. This is going to sit
Yeah.
right
Gotta have
here
it.
and to help symbolize Gordon. You know, there's like every trade show, we get a round together and everybody is always talking about Gordon. You know, it's reminiscent, and he's here in spirit for sure. And I'll tell you what, this has been a little bit of a sleepy show.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a little bit of a sleepy show. If anything, because I feel less tired than I usually do.
That's fair.
So, yeah. Well, that's weird. It's a sleepy show, but I feel less sleepy, so that doesn't really make sense. But this first section, let's just cover the major news announcements from CES. All right, now let's move to the next section. You see what I did there? No.
You had that in the chamber ready to go.
I did. I'm not that tired. I know what I'm doing here. So yeah, let's first up let's cover what technically is day 0, but really we're already a couple days in, is like all the press conference days. So we had our home base talk over the Intel keynote, the AMD keynote. We skipped Jensen's AI keynote,
Right.
and Nvidia had a separate GeForce keynote. Well, it wasn't really a keynote. It was like a pre-recorded
Community update.
community update. Yeah. So let's start with Intel. They were the very first ones. So Mark,
Yeah.
go through what was exciting about the Intel keynote.
It's interesting because one of the things that we saw here is we saw both the introduction of the Intel Core Ultra 3 laptop processor, plus AMD's introduction of its Ryzen AI 400, aka Gorgon Point, and there was just a difference in terms of emphasis between the two. So Intel gets up, devotes an entire press conference specifically to Panther Lake. Lip Bhutan shows up. They hand it over to Jim Johnson, who's now running their client business. It's very flashy, benchmarks, blah blah blah. Thing lets out. You go into this big, demo area. There's this like AI LED with AI Panther Lake, and there's fog. I've never seen fog at a press conference before. There was
Smoke machines.
There's a smoke machine. There's a fog machine. Drinks. Blah 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 blah. So that's Intel. Yay! That was just a press conference. AMD.
Well, first let's go over
Okay,
what was announced.
Okay,
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
Panther Lake, Core Ultra 3, you got a dozen chips, everything from top end Core Ultra X9, I think 388H is the top. You've got the disappearance of some of the suffixes. So right now we've just got basically the H chips and the vanilla chips, and there's some differences there, basically in terms of core count, TDP, and so forth. And you know that's what you're looking at there. Was there more that you want to talk about?
I have to do.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something funny I want to point out.
Okay.
You remember a couple years ago when they were like, you know what, we're going to simplify the naming. You know, there's this extra letter we're going to drop. You know, it's this. You know, it's going to clear up confusion. Then now they come out and they're like, oh, hey, we brought back this extra letter. So you know, it's just
You're
a little
referring to
weird.
the X or you're referring to the H?
Well, they dropped the I from the
I see
numbering,
what you're saying.
and
Yes,
then they
that's
came back
true.
and was like, "Oh, hey,
Yeah, good point.
actually,
Right,
now we
right.
have a letter right back in
Got
front
to
of
make
the
room for the new
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Right. So the X refers to the most powerful configuration, the 12xe
with the
configuration.
GPU.
The
yeah,
GPU
yeah,
is
yeah.
exactly right. Yeah, which we'll talk about a little bit later in terms of gaming performance. But
Yeah, because I mean, we got a chance to benchmark.
we did. You want to talk about that now?
Yeah, why not?
Okay,
We're
absolutely.
talking about Intel. You know,
That's
all
the
this
most
stuff.
exciting part of Panther Lake to me. as a graphics
Yeah,
guy.
exactly.
I mean, listen, they reached out ahead of time. We're like, hey, we're gonna have a benchmarking session.
Yep.
We're gonna have some machines set up.
Yep.
You can do whatever you want. No embargo. You can bring your own benchmarks, all that kind of stuff. They
Well,
haven't really
gaming benchmarks.
gaming benchmark. Yeah,
gaming
no
benchmarks.
synthetics, no
Yeah,
CPU-based
CPU stuff,
benchmarks.
right.
Yep. But
Yeah.
they let us look at power draw, all that kind of interesting stuff. Like, I don't know how you felt about it. I'm curious, and everyone else too. But like, I felt like that was a sign of strength.
Absolutely.
Confidence.
Confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a poker hand, right? So everybody turns over, everyone's get their cards, flop, you know, and then they're like all in. I mean, you know, they just decided, okay, hey, you know, we've got what everyone wants. We're going to prove it to you right here and now. I mean, we will get our test laptops in a couple of weeks or whatever it might be to test it. But I mean, you know, that was you're absolutely right, a sign of confidence.
I mean, especially
Yeah.
because so we have had benchmarking sessions at previous conventions,
Right.
But usually those are embargoed.
They are.
We'll get together, we'll test, and then the numbers have to be shown
Right.
a little bit later. Here they were like, man, I even like face palmed because somebody asked about live streaming, and I was like, we could have streamed it live. Oh,
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Actually, yeah, we should have done that.
Dang, I know. Like I was just like this close. I ended up doing a pre-recorded video, which is on YouTube. You did a nice benchmarking session. So we each actually were able to get a laptop and
Yeah,
and
it was
do
all
different
a
stuff.
lot of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, a lot of Cyberpunk. But hey, a couple of interesting things. I mean, first of all, Snapdragon X2 Elite actually has more CPU cores, so I'm guessing that in terms of like synthetic CPU benchmarks, that chip is actually going to come out on top. Don't know if that's the case, but again, Intel wants to probably have its chips recording victories across the board. Okay, fine.
Especially for gaming, where
Especially-
obviously
Right.
Qualcomm,
Right.
know,
Right.
It was. I
struggles.
was looking at you guys' video and article, and I found it pretty insane that Panther Lake is flirting with 4050 level performance in an integrated chip.
They actually put a slide up there actually just claiming that. And, the thing is that, okay, again, it's how you define it. But you look at, one of the things that we've emphasized from the beginning, and this was actually, if we're talking about Gordon, this was one of Gordon's pushes too, was that you look at only rendered frames. If you look at the rendered frames, again, we haven't seen across what the AI 400 and the Snapdragon X2 Elite does, but I was testing those like last year's chips at, like, for example, with Cyberpunk at 1080p low, and you're getting 30 to 60 frames a second. But now you're getting to the point where you actually have to, and you can look at the story on the site to see all the exact numbers. But now we really have to consider that specific chip really in the context of our gaming laptops, because I mean it can handle it. I kind of was originally planning just to run the benchmarks from a low perspective, and then I was just like, well, heck, these numbers are great. I got to run them from a gaming laptop just to see what they'll do. And especially when they came out and they said, hey, it's comparable to a 4050. And the thing of it is that I don't think it's quite there. The threshold is a tad. It kind of depends on whether you're running like a 3060 or a 3070 or a 4050. I mean, there's some variability there, but you are in that neighborhood. And then, Intel really wants you to run the AI benchmark or the AI stuff. So upscale the XeSS 3, where you're injecting 3 frames, 3 AI frames for every rendered frame. that just bumps up the frame count in crazy amounts.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see when we get those laptops in for review.
Right.
Because frame gen can add latency. So we'll have to see how that matters on integrated graphics, especially. We have no reference for that, really.
Right.
I suppose we do with AMD's chips, but not in this context. But to me, I would be fine with the latency. If I'm just buying a normal Panther Lake chip and, hey, now it can play Cyberpunk, and it doesn't handle as well as it does on a gaming PC, but you know what? I'm just a kid who bought a Panther Lake laptop to go to college, and I can still play Cyberpunk. That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't notice too many. I didn't notice any artifacts or anything of that sort. I mean, I know there's purists there. I mean, Digital Foundry was floating around, right? These are the guys.
they're right in front of us. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
right.
got to watch them use their secret tools.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. I mean, these are the guys that would sort of discern if anything is happening. But to my untrained, amateur eye, hey, it looked.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
great.
and actually the other thing about latency too is like when you're playing on sticks, a lot of that stuff gets negated because
Yeah.
of the way controllers are. And so I'm very excited to try it out in handhelds. And I was a little bummed because I really, really thought they would have at least one handheld design
Yeah.
to show off. Nothing.
Well,
Like-
sounds like it's coming though.
Yeah, I was rewatching that the press event myself. I was skimming through it, and I saw Dan Rogers, right, was talking about
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
And he's like, yeah, it's going to be in handhelds. And I'm like, oh, I was hoping you could say, here's one.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I get it.
They were leaning on MSI. Get us something we can put on the show floor, and I guess it just didn't come through.
I mean, yes, I'm sure it'll come. I'm just, I'm me being greedy. I would like to see it now because, I mean, by all accounts, I mean, I guess people should read your article. For me, like, I came away feeling like, yeah, this is like Lunar, like on steroids. This is like good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking trash against AMD. I mean, they called AMD's, Z1 and Z2 ancient silicon. So, I mean, that's, and this...
Fighting words.
There are little fighting words. I mean, I got to, right now, AMD controls that market, obviously. And in part because, and this is AMD's contention, is because they have a strong console business, so they know what it's like to design a processor, an SoC, that's optimized for that, configuration and engaging with developers who can write to that specific configuration. I mean, that's what a console is. So from that standpoint, obviously, Intel's got some has to, just up their game and compete. But, supposedly I saw a story, I think Freelancer was talking about it just being a G series part, which they wouldn't confirm to me, but potential new derivative, potential new branding, and probably out in a few months. It sounds like too. So who knows?
Any mention of desktop stuff?
No, this was a mobile only show.
No Arrow Lake refresh.
Arrow Lake refresh. No Nova Lake. Nothing
No
like that.
discrete B770, anything like that.
No.
A little bummed by that. But
I'm not surprised. I'm kind of shocked they didn't eventually release a B770, but I feel like with what RAM prices are what they are now, it's
Yeah.
not going to happen because it would be alluring for a budget option or a mainstream option. And
also, how much talk of Wildcat Lake?
Zippo. Yeah. I mean, nothing. I mean, it's there. I heard from a couple of other people who were floating around that Wildcat looks especially impressive. But officially, I know, we know nothing about it. And I'm not entirely certain if it was shown off behind closed doors or not. I asked around and didn't hear any mention of it. But yeah, it's floating around the roadmap. So
For those who don't know, that's the real lower end part.
Yeah,
Still
exactly,
18A,
right.
but it's designed for like small home theater PCs or what I'm thinking, like home lab kind of stuff. Like it's like the N150 replacement. kind
yeah,
of
that
thing,
mini
so.
PC area, that market's going to be kind of interesting. I think people are going to kind of experiment there and see what works and what doesn't.
So real low power, like a Celeron kind of replacement, or like a Core 3 low end.
I'm glad you explained that because I had no idea. I'm like, what's Wildcat Lake?
Sorry,
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen,
Yeah.
for people who are like into home lab, like Will, like he uses a mini PC for his Plex server or whatever. I think that's what it is, and he's running a Alder Lake N150. I think it's all based on Alder Lake, and he's looking at everyone talking about Wildcat Lake, and he's just like, man, if the power savings are even better on that one.
They probably didn't want to undercut what they already had. But yeah, I mean,
Also, I mean, to tell you the truth, like that chip isn't a showstopper. You're not coming out with benchmarks or something.
No.
That's
Right.
that's more like, hey, you
Efficiency.
know what? Yeah, efficiency. So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
I get it, but
Yeah.
yeah. So anything else Intel related you want to mention?
Let's see. No, I think actually the funny thing is that for all that Intel did in terms of their competitive offerings, I spent a lot of time actually with AMD. So
Yeah, let's move over to AMD.
Yeah.
They had the opening keynote for all of CES, and it was very concise. It was very brief. They didn't, spend time in places that didn't make sense for a consumer electronics show.
yeah,
and,
it was epic, kind of like the Odyssey. Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay, I'm being a little
Right.
joking around, but
Yes.
yeah. I mean, listen, they did announce some stuff, or that pertains to us. I mean, there was plenty of talk, of course, about AI and stuff, but whatever.
Elena, I'm not sure where she got the number, but she was keeping track. I got a sneak peek at the full nerd newsletter for tomorrow. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Apparently, AMD mentioned AI 207 times during its keynote.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So actually, during the restream that Elena and Will did on the PCWorld channel, Will set a custom counter on his Elgato
Excellent.
pedal.
Oh,
and
that's
every
cool.
time they
Nice.
hit AI, a little counter in the video popped up.
Nice.
So yeah, cool stuff. So that's where
Genius,
she
Will.
got the number. Yeah. So okay, let's go over Gorgon Point first because you kind of already talked about it. So that's Ryzen
Yeah.
AI 400
That's right.
series.
Yeah.
And it seems to be, by all accounts, just like a refresh of Strix.
That's what I'd put it. First of all, I just was watching. I just gotta say that I was watching the AMD stream, and then I'd flip over to on my phone, Will and Elena's stream too, and the despondency and the despair that grew in that stream as it went on into space and robots and so forth. It's like this overwhelming silence, and the commenters, thank God for y'all watching and so forth. We're really nice and so forth, but my
Just hanging
goodness.
out. Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so yeah, Gorgon Point.
I mean, real quick, to be fair, if for people who don't know, I think, is that when you take the place of the CES opening keynote overall, I'm going to imagine that CTA, who puts on CES, is probably like, hey, you need to make sure to hit almost every major category that CES covers.
Yes.
So that's not on AMD. I bet that's like just a function of being the main opening keynote.
Now I want to clear up a little. Well, sorry to cut
No,
you off
of
yet
course,
again.
go ahead.
But clear up a little misconception about the Consumer Electronics Show. Even though it's called the Consumer Electronics Show, it's always been a business-to-business show.
Well, actually, you know what I found out this year?
what?
It is not Consumer Electronics
No, it's
Show.
just CES now.
Just
They got
CES.
But
rid
it's
of
run by the Consumer Technology Association.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the reason it's called the Consumer Electronics Show is because the idea was getting all these consumer electronic vendors and shops and manufacturers together to talk and do business.
I mean, it's
so
kinda
that's
like-
why you see more business stuff kind of.
Well, and honestly, it's kind of like E3 as well, where it's like,
Mm.
sure, we saw the end result, but really it was like big business was happening in the background. So
yeah.
So anyways, yeah, I mean, all good points, and I appreciate you making it. I mean, Gorgon Point, yeah, the thing of it was is that, and I took some flack from this last night from AMD, because they were just like, hey, they did talk consumer, and that's true. I thought the consumer mentions during the keynote were about a few minutes as opposed to half of it or so forth, but apparently that had to do with some special guests that went on and on and on length. Anyways, Gorgon Point, sort of an incremental upgrade to a Ryzen AI 300, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, the Ryzen AI 300 didn't have as competitive as in terms of battery life, but performance, it was at the top of the heap. And so if you're looking for a notebook that really offered good performance, I think the Ryzen AI 300 6 point was your man, so to speak.
I mean, to tell you the truth, like the last couple laptops that I've been using, and even the one here at CES is Strix Point.
Yeah, right.
And like that, man, that is a great chip.
Yeah, Strix does great, absolutely. So I mean, if you look at it as an incremental upgrade of that, you can't necessarily disparage that because it's good plus a little bit better is still good. So we'll have to see how it all compares. It did kind of sound off the top of my head like they weren't necessarily, I don't know if I wouldn't say conceding. They weren't emphasizing it as much as I thought they should, because I thought they did a great job in the previous generation. So I would like to have seen a little bit more. But, again, it was just kind of bits and pieces scattered throughout the rest of it. I mean, a couple of
Well, real quick, did
Sorry.
anybody see Ryzen AI 400 base laptops around?
I think I did see.
Did you see it?
I can't remember exactly which vendor. I think I saw one that was no, it was mini PCs, and they weren't live hardware. They were saying when we come to market, we will have this at Ryzen AI 400 level.
The marketing aspect of it was an interesting one because, we went to Lenovo, and Lenovo had Intel branding. I mean, it was like Lenovo X Intel at this point. I mean, there was no AMD branding. And in fact, one of the roundtables I was in, talking to one of their senior VPs, somebody made the point, and they're like, I didn't actually put this in my quote, but he was like, I have to deal with this shit. I mean, he was basically like,
Beep.
yeah, well, sorry.
Willis is over here squirming. Real quick, I am so sorry. I forgot to introduce running the verticals and horizontals. One Willis Sly is joining us. I know he has no audio. I'm so sorry about that.
We couldn't do this without him.
Yeah, literally cannot do this without him. So I'm sorry.
But anyways, so yeah, I mean, they, normally there's like a wall of laptops, right, from Intel and AMD and even Qualcomm if they're there. And AMD had one in their booth, but there wasn't really one elsewhere on the show, and so you kind of got this sense for. This isn't true, of course. You kind of got the sense that that AMD didn't really have a huge presence there. I'm sure it did, but again, you're right. No benchmarking, no real, not a huge.
What they call design wins.
Yeah, I mean, no real. There was the chip introduction itself, but no real follow through beyond that, which was again a little bit like, hey guys, you had an opportunity here. Why didn't you take a little bit more of a swing? So yeah, Ryzen Gorgon, and then dropped in a couple of additional things. I mean, the couple of Ryzen AI Max Plus chips. The real, probably the interesting one was the addition of an additional X3D part.
Yeah, actually, real quick,
yeah.
The rumors on the Strix Halo chips, the gaming kind of centric ones, they were real.
Yeah,
so they came out,
were.
and honestly, I mean that's what I want. Like
Right.
just an 8
Yes,
core
sir.
with a huge, lower end discrete class GPU. Like man. That was exciting. Unfortunately, once again, I did ask AMD. I did get chip shots. They have the chips here, but I was asked, at their booth, do you have anything with it in it to show off the gaming stuff? They did have a Asus TUF that had Strix Halo, but I don't think it was the gaming part.
Interesting. So yeah, the X3D part was, I think that's a nice addition because everybody's looking for a little bit more in terms of flexibility and additional pricing. The X3D2, which was a part with, memory on both of the CCDs, that was rumored to come. I mean, that we saw, I think we saw benchmarks out there. We saw it was sort of like, it was assumed to be here.
There were actually a couple of companies that were put out marketing stuff the day of the keynote, and
Really?
a couple of them mentioned that.
Interesting.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
But no, they didn't announce it. I was told officially to stay tuned. So it's coming obviously, but we don't know when and where.
I know. I did clarify with AMD that the 9800 X3D is going to continue to be around. So really, this is just if you want the best of the 9800 or 9850 X3D, that's your one. But also, I mean, in terms of performance, you probably I'm sure it's just like a little bump. To me, it kind of read like a KS. Right, and it's like, hey, you know what? These are the best bin chips coming off the line, and if you want it, cool. Or if not, you got the 9800 X3D, and I did ask about the 7800 X3D. That's still in production as well. So.
So yeah, most of AMD's emphasis was on AI, but you can't help. I mean, like I was pointing out to people last night, you can't. I can't criticize them for that. I mean, AMD has the habits of a kid that grew up poor, right? I mean, you used to nickel and diming. There was years there where you didn't know if AMD was going to A, make a profit, or B, have money in the bank to survive another quarter.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, hey, people are throwing money at them just to get them in terms of their data centers and servers and so forth. So why are they going to follow that? Yeah, I mean, I would.
Absolutely, yeah.
You found that funny?
I'm sorry,
Why
that was really funny. Like just a
That
corporation
funny.
was growing up poor. It's like, I mean, hey, no, I mean it's not wrong. It's just
Right.
it's very funny, and I'm tired. Yeah. So the X3D part, there was something else I was going to say, but I forgot because once again I'm tired.
Right.
And AMD. Was there anything else consumer? They didn't talk about new GPUs.
Well, the mobile. The interesting thing though is that socketed desktops though. That's the other aspect to it. Yeah.
What was this?
So Gorgon Point. So they're talking about.
Oh yes.
Right. So they're talking about. I mean, we went down that road before with Intel, right? And we had Michelle Johnson Whole House not long ago with the company just talking about, hey, we're going to have Core Ultra chips in desktops too. And then I mean, she was pretty distinct about that. And then we backed off, and then it's a socketed desktop, and then it ended up being, I guess, an all-in-one, which I honestly never saw. But so my reaction to when they said socketed desktops too was like, oh, are we going down this road again? Well, apparently not. Apparently they really feel that that there's a market for putting a mobile chip inside of a desktop, everywhere from 1 liter, and they were talking about like multiple liters, like double-digit liters and so forth, like big things. And of course, when you get into those big things inside of a socketed desktop, I mean, the assumption is, hey, you're gonna put it in yourself, and you're going to replace it. And if you replace it, you're going to buy it, and that means you're going to sell mobile chips inside of places like Newegg and so forth, which, as far as I'm aware, has never been done.
Never
before.
happened.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like they do have the G series processors. Like those are mobile chips, but yeah, kind of in the package of a desktop part.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but that's not
SoC
what
perspective.
they really
No,
mention here.
yeah. So I don't know if that's they left open the possibility that's going to happen. They didn't say one way or the other, but that was one of the more interesting things just from an overall trends perspective. Like, hey, I can buy a mobile chip from AMD and a website, or from a Newegg or something of that sort. Right, that's pretty cool. So, we'll have to see if that pans out and so forth.
Or you buy like a soldered on chip already on a motherboard kind of thing.
Be,
I mean,
yeah.
which we've seen before.
Yeah.
So
right, yeah.
Maybe that's just more of an intention to
Possibilities
expand
are
that.
endless. Who knows? Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking about just at least floating the possibility, or at least not shooting it down, was pretty interesting. I like that. So
yeah. Okay. Anything else AMD related?
No, just the back and forth between the handheld stuff, but that's been taken care of. There's a couple of I sat through a roundtable, and then you can find that transcript on the site. It's not the total complete transcript, because that would have gone on and on and on, but I pulled out some of the juicier quotes.
Also, it's up now on the PCWorld channel. I did interview Andre, who is the head of software
I saw
stuff.
that too. Yeah, that was good.
Actually, I had a really good discussion about FSR, the naming scheme, where it's going, because I still feel like it's a little muddy, like trying to understand that stuff. But then also the whole thing of FSR FSR upscaling, whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry, the naming. Coming the intake version that leaked out, that kind of stuff. And also, I did get to talk to him about Linux support as well. So, yeah, go watch that video. I think it was a pretty good video.
I love how enthusiastic you are now that you're trying Linux.
Yeah, Linux, man, 2026. This is the first major trade show that I've attended where I've been on this Linux journey, subscribed to the Dual Boot Diaries. And I've been talking to vendors about this stuff, and yeah, there's definitely interest more now than ever. I feel like, or maybe I'm just more aware of it. Maybe that's a better way to say it. But yeah, let's move on to Nvidia.
Oh, hey, I guess that's me.
Yeah, well, so there was a little bit of confusion, at least for us on the home team, because we usually stream out the main Nvidia keynote, and Jensen was going to get on stage and talk about stuff, and we literally made the post, and with Lena and Will were ready to go, and then we saw a note that said, "Oh, hey, we're going to be talking about these new consumer technologies at a separate live stream," and I was like, "Okay, well, I guess we need to shift." And
at 9 o'clock at night on a Monday, 9 o'clock Pacific time, so it was midnight in the East Coast, and even later in Europe.
Yeah, so that was a little interesting. I mean, I guess, well, there's two ways to look at it. That means maybe they knew they were going to talk about consumer at the main thing, and they were like, "Oh, well, we should give them something." And it's like, okay, I guess I'd rather have that than not say anything at all.
Right.
But then also, it like, I don't know, something about it just felt like it was oh, okay, well, we're going to push this off to the side. The main thing, Jensen's going to focus on here. You gamers, you got your thing over here.
Because Jensen did not mention word one about consumer in his keynote, because I sat through it, and it was just like, it was enterprise, blah, 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 robotics, blah, blah, blah.
Well, speaking of which, I attended the press and analyst Q&A, and out of, I think I was there for an hour and a half, and there's dozens and dozens of questions, and only 5 of them got asked about gaming, including me. So you can go hear his answer, because I actually recorded it on my Meta glasses. like me asking the question, so you get to see it through my eyes, and then him giving the response, and I just uncut, just upload that to YouTube and TikTok. And
Careful, guys. He's very tall. You might get vertigo.
yeah, there you go. I mean, side note, that was kind of an interesting thing to do with that technology. But the other side was every time somebody asked him about gaming stuff, he just moved it towards AI, which, that's their focus. So, yeah. Anyway, the presentation did actually have some interesting stuff. So, Brad, what was interesting that was shown off?
It's kind of too bad that it was shunted to the side because, or later in the day, because there's actually really cool things. There were no graphics cards announcements. For a while, there were rumors floating around that we might see a 50 Super Series refresh.
No graphics announcements at all from anyone.
No, which honestly I'm fine with. Both Radeon and RTX GeForce generations both launched in full from top to bottom last year, like over the last 12 months. And Adam can tell you that's a lot of work to review all those things. So I'm A-okay.
Have a year off. Maybe have a year off.
Yeah, take your time. It's all right. But with, RAM prices being what they are, the idea of a super refresh would probably be more RAM, so I'm not surprised there were not.
Actually, there weren't new processor or GPU generations, but we did actually see a lot of new GPU designs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a really cool. Oh, I'll have to look at it. I'm gonna look forward on my phone after this. But there's one that looks like a boombox.
That was
Gigabyte Aorus.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Infinity. It has like a really cool bubble-esque design with a mesh middle part. I wanted to throw it on my shoulder and party like it's 1999.
Yeah, no, that was cool. MSI had the world's first 1,000-watt GPU with a limited edition Lightning. They brought
Which is
back the
insane.
Lightning.
Oh, not just 1,000. It goes up to 2,500 if you're okay with voiding your warranty and burning down your house.
Okay, but yeah, so one thing I did notice is that multiple vendors, including Gigabyte, had the double blow-through design.
I noticed that too.
That appeared with the Founders Edition. So I was like, oh, I wonder if that was something that just was able to be added to AIB's shopping list later to be like, Nvidia was like, okay, you know what? We had our Founders thing. Now if you want the double blow-through design, here you go.
Yeah, that could work with. I wouldn't also be surprised if it's like a business thing, like with prices going so high on the streets. Last year's models were advertised at a certain price. Like, this one's $500. You go look now and it's $1,000. If they have new products, they can put whatever they want for the price tag.
For sure, yeah. So I guess I just went in here not expecting to see new GPU designs based off the same architecture. I thought there would be a super refresh, so that was interesting. The other one, actually, sorry, real quick, was the ProArt. I love ProArt.
It's real pretty. I saw one.
And it's a 5090 now. Usually the ProArts have been to the 80 series. This is a 5090. It's the blow-through, the dual flow-through design. And, oh boy, yeah, that card looks really nice.
But for the actual announcements, it was all like visual monitor tech and DLSS 4.5. Which I saw in person. I spent a couple hours at NVIDIA's booth the other day, and they're both super awesome. It's unfortunate that it's really hard to catch on camera. Like G-Sync, I'll start with G-Sync Pulsar and then I'll get into DLSS 4.5. G-Sync Pulsar basically uses strobing backlights that move from top to bottom, and the strobe comes right after the refresh of the image. So the idea is it tremendously almost solves the problem of motion clarity in games as you're zooming around, because with traditional, like if you play League of Legends or Dota at high frame rates especially, or you play city builders as you pan and tilt around, text and find stuff, it blurs. And it's very noticeable if you know what you're looking for. These new monitors basically eradicate that. They're insane to see in real life. NVIDIA used to have a technology called ULMB, ultra low motion blur, but those never worked with variable refresh rate monitors, and they used to get a little dark actually with the backlight. Pulsar has none of those issues. So go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so the screen refreshes, and right above the
right after
it, there's basically a light
strobe. Yeah, pull strobe.
Does that recreate like a flickering effect?
So what it does is the image refreshes. Usually it all just kind of happens, and that's why it looks blurry because your eyes sees it moving up and down the screen, basically.
Sure, that makes sense.
Lars, I forget his last name, but Lars from Nvidia was very helpful at explaining this. You could tell it was his baby. His demonstration was literally waving your finger in front of your face. Like, do that right now, you'll see it blurring. With traditional monitors, that's the effect. So by having the pulse a second after that, it lets the refreshed pixels get set in place, and then they blur, or they not blur, they strobe right then. So your eye doesn't see that moving as much. You just see each one as it's finished and in place.
So it's sort of like that effect where you're at a rave and you see the pulses and you see motion in like snapshots in your
exactly.
brain.
Yeah, but at 240 frames a second, so
Right.
it just looks ultra clear. That's a great analogy. And it's amazing. Like I was tooling around to the new Anno game. It was a hands-on demonstration, and the difference was night and day.
You got to actually try it.
Yeah, I mean it was a canned demo, but I was sitting there playing around with it, and doing all kinds of different stuff.
And it was obviously like if I'm thinking I didn't go to the appointment, but I'm going to assume they had one with off and one with on.
Absolutely.
And you were able to clearly see both.
Yep. And I'm a monitor and graphics nerd, but I think that if you had these two monitors side by side and looked at them, you would immediately see the difference. It's that clear. It's so clear, in fact, that I think that if you primarily play like Dota or League of Legends or text-based games like Civilization, like you might want to opt for one of these panels, even though they're IPS, versus an OLED. Like the difference is that stark.
That's some high praise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's right.
I'm hoping to get one in after I get back so I can try to. It's really hard to capture on camera.
Yeah.
That's the problem with this sort of
I
technology.
mean, unless you have like a really high-speed camera, I'm
Yeah.
going to assume. Yeah.
So-
but even then, that's not how you're going to experience it. So yeah, sure,
Yeah.
maybe you could slow it down to kind of see how it works, but that's not how you're
I'm
experiencing
hoping to
it.
get in so I can talk more in depth about it in the future. But,
Yeah.
I spent 20, 30 minutes with Lars trying that out, learning about the technology. And one's already on sale from AOC. And if you play those kinds of games, I would say go pick it up if you have money burning a hole in your pocket.
So the questions I have is, wait, did you just say that it was not available in OLED? Like this is
This is IPS technology only.
okay. So IPS only. That's interesting.
So
all of these
won't work with OLED. I mean, it just won't.
It at least won't right now. It's a different kind of underlying tech.
I see.
That's the big difference.
Does it rely on a separate backlight in order for it to function? I would assume that's what's going on there.
I don't know. I'm also tired. Okay. I'm sure, but
Also, did they talk about? I mean, I guess there's the AOC model, but did they talk about the price premium on this kind of stuff?
this isn't bad actually. The AOC one is $599, and this is a very high quality IPS monitor, 360 hertz. These are all going to be. Pulsar is 360 hertz, 144p. It looks great. It doesn't have the problems with dimming that I said that the old ULMB displays used to do. So
is 360 like the requirement? You can't go below 360.
these the 4 monitors that were announced, I think it was Acer, Asus, AOC, and I forget the last one. I think maybe MSI. They all fit the spec. I'm not sure if it's like this is what it has to be, but Nvidia's endeavors around things like this, they usually pay to have a panel maker kind of figure this out. And so you get one sort of panel that goes into all these. So I would not be surprised if it's all that. One other interesting note is that G-Sync modules are going away.
Like hardware-based G-Sync.
Hardware-based G-Sync is going away. Instead, they're still doing the software, the secret sauce, but it's going to rely on instead MediaTek hardware modules, which are already very common inside of most panels. So the idea is it should bring costs down. That's why these things are $599 to start.
Got it. So bring costs down. Are there any other downsides? Is the quality going to change? I mean,
We'll have to see in the future. It
Yeah.
sounds like future G-Sync monitors won't have hardware modules either. It's not just these ones. So we'll have to see. But yeah, see a G-Sync, which I don't mind. I have an older G-Sync. I have one of the first 4K 144 hertz G-Sync modules that has HDR and has an active fan, and it drives me crazy.
I mean,
bet it does.
Yeah. Well, but I'm going to assume that probably because they've expanded so much into the G-Sync compatible stuff
Yeah.
that they're like, we'd much rather expand that program than have to worry about the whole hardware-based stuff.
Well, I agree 100%. But they were, playing up the point that so many of these monitors are already using these MediaTek chips already. It's easier for the vendors to integrate these things. It's already out there. That's the kind of idea. And then there was DLSS 4.5, which you can go download right now. You have to do all that weird kind of DLSS override stuff. More so right now because it's in beta. You'd have to sign up for it. I think it comes out later this month.
Wait, you can't get the driver unless
you can get the
sign
driver,
up for
but
the
you got to
beta?
sign up for the beta version.
Of the driver. Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah. But
So what are the updates?
the updates to DLSS is it's moving to a second-gen transformer model. So if you remember last year, they switched from what was called a CNN model to transformer, and it had a little bit of a performance hit, but huge visual upgrade. I would say it was absolutely worth it. Will and I actually did a video when I was in San Francisco in April about it. This one also ups image quality. I haven't been able to test it. Sorry for saying into this mic so much, by the way. Dang. But
Somebody clip that, please.
But yeah, so DLSS 4.5 has the new transformer model. It focuses on better anti-aliasing, temporal stability. So that's when leaves are flying around. No. That's like when you have a ball of yarn that if you use it, if it's all picture a ball of yarn, a bunch of little strings. When you're using upscaling with DLSS and stuff, it can sometimes get that shimmering kind of effect. You can see the same thing, if you're looking at leaves in the background of scenes. With DLSS, I just real hard tried not to say DLSS 4.5. It doesn't eliminate it, but it gets it 90% of the way there. It's a vast improvement in temporal stability for those kinds of edge cases.
Would you say this second generation transformer model is as big as the leap from CNN to transformer was?
I don't, but it is starting to pick away at the little lingering problems that we still have with upscaling, and it's very noticeable. Daniel Owens, actually, a lot of people watching this probably know who Daniel Owens is on YouTube. I was watching his video earlier this morning dissecting DLSS 4.5. Go check that out if you want. He does a great job. But another thing that it does is greatly reduces ghosting. So I was doing Black Myth Wukong, and leaves were floating down in the background, and you can see ghosting trails on those in Black Myth Wukong. With DLSS 4.5, you can't see them anymore. On top of that, DLSS has often had a problem with particle effects. DLSS 4.5, you can see them clear as day. So a lot of the little lingering issues that was there with DLSS 4 are getting cleared up with DLSS 4.5. And what's cool is at the demo stations, I told them they need to figure out a way to put this into actual consumer things so people can see this for themselves. They had a toggle button. So you could hit the button and be like, okay, this is DLSS 4.4. Hit the button. Next one is DLSS 4.5.
That's the way to do it.
And you instantly see it and try it out. You can go try it out right now. But the other part, of course, is DLSS 6X.
And real quick, is this implemented natively in the games, or do you have to do this in the override?
For now, you have to do the override at least. That's been my biggest complaint about all these DLSS 4 and FSR 4,
FSR Redstone.
FSR
technologies.
Redstone now.
Right.
Normal people don't want to go dig around in control panels. Let's please figure this out. Microsoft, make a standard or something. Somebody somewhere do something. But it's good to have. But that's half of it. The other half, of course, is frame gen 6X as well as dynamic frame gen.
Oh, it's 6X?
It goes up to 6X
6
now.
frames?
Yeah,
Wow.
5.
Five
frames.
generated
Well, still,
one.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. That's a lot.
Yeah, and it does add a little bit of extra latency. They had things so you could see at the top of the screen, like a FCAT kind of setup. But it's not as much as you would think. It's like what we saw going from 1X frame gen to 4X. There's a little bit of an increase, but because of the underlying way that DLSS works, it doesn't add as much as you might think.
Okay.
So it added, in the couple of games I was trying, I think it added 3 milliseconds, not even, of extra latency.
Not bad.
Which, isn't great. I see Adam's face. If you're playing competitive games, but if you're playing competitive games, you shouldn't be using DLSS to
Right,
begin with.
yeah.
So
Definitely not.
Yeah, so that math never changed or doesn't change. It's
Yeah.
okay, well,
yeah. But the real cool part was dynamic frame gen.
Yeah, please tell me about this because in my mind, I'm sorry, it's hard to keep up with all the news when you're down here in it. And in my mind, it's what we were asking for, where you can say, hey, you know what? Generate as many frames as you can until you hit a target frame rate. Because like my TV can only do 120. So it's like if I can get to 90, then I don't need 4 times frame gen. Maybe I might not need 3, but maybe I need like 1.5. But it's either 2 or 3, and so this does that.
That's the gist of it. Yes, and it's really especially good for these AI frame gen performance because if you were rendering frames natively, it's okay to shoot over your monitor resolution because it could improve your latency. But if you're doing frame gen already, it doesn't improve latency to go over that. So your GPU has to work harder just to chuck it in the trash bin.
Well, and it's the same thing, especially for my small form factor. It's like it's rendering all these frames and it's heating up when usually, for the most part, I try to cap the performance to try to keep down the heat. And
so I believe you can configure it to the frame rate of your choice. The demos that I was using, they were set to match the monitors. So it was really awesome.
I'm going to assume that's probably how most people would do it, right?
Yeah, I would think
That's
so.
the first thing that I was thinking for
And
my
you didn't-
240
no
hertz. at home.
jerkiness or anything of that sort, because I mean the frame rate generation rate is dynamically changing. I mean there was no obvious visual artifacts.
How does it know which extra frames to toss and which to keep?
Thank you. Yep, that's what I wanted to say.
People might, before I get into that, people might want to set their target rate lower than their monitor because like if you're playing like a retro game or something like that too.
Oh, yeah,
like if it
yeah.
only renders at 60 frames per second or
You're
whatever.
Right, you're right.
Okay.
So I believe you have options. But yeah, that was the thing when I saw this announced. I'm like, so how's this going to feel? Because if
exactly.
I'm playing an open world game and they had Outer Worlds 2 actually as one of the demos, which is a great one because you could look out the window and it was just a star field. And that doesn't take a lot of processing power. So you'd look out there and it would ramp down. It would go down to, I believe, I was playing that one on a 240 monitor, and I think it went down to 4x because they had a counter in the corner so you could see what it was running at. Went to frame gen 4x to maintain that 240 base rate. But as you turn around and start walking around, going through more complicated scenes, talking to people, it would scale back up to 6x. And there was zero jankiness or jutteriness or anything like that, which was my big concern.
Was that the only demo, Outer Worlds?
There was Outer Worlds, and there was another. There was another one too. There was a couple. They had a bunch of laptops set up there showing it up on, so I forget which one exactly was which one.
But they had multiple.
Yes.
It wasn't just one game.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
And yeah, it was great. Like,
I mean,
it sounds cool. I can't wait to get home. And try it.
yeah, right. Like that's what we were asking for. It's like, wow, this technology is cool. Wouldn't it be cool if they implemented this?
Yeah, but no, they actually had another one. I forget what game was on it, but it was set up to 165 hertz monitor. And so that was to show that it was the exact same sort of desktop. They were all Falcon Northwest systems with RTX 5070 cards in them. And so the 240 hertz monitor had to scale between 4 and 6x to feed the 240 hertz. So then they brought you over to another one that's 165 hertz. And that one was only going up to 3x. So just to kind of show how it scales on the same system depending on what you're setting the monitor rate for.
That's wild.
And when you kick into some scenes might have lower frame rates altogether, like pre-rendered cutscenes might only run at 60 frames per second. They actually cut frame gen off completely for those, which you would kind of have to do
isn't
for
that
a
how it
cutscene.
already goes. So
I believe
think
so.
I believe that's how it already
But
goes. Yeah.
that was the example they used. But in any case, if there's like if you're playing an emulator Zelda Link to the Past or something like that, it's just not going to kick it in. That would not have DLSS support. But, as an example. But yeah,
Hey,
it's all,
never discount the community. They do some
Right.
crazy stuff.
Yeah, no, it was all super cool. I'm looking forward to getting home and trying it. They actually, it's too bad because they're both super exciting technologies, but I feel bad for Nvidia because it's really hard to capture on video. So it's like VR. You have to see it to get it, kind of.
Yeah, it's like, hey, the news from Nvidia is it's getting better.
Yeah.
Like the image quality, we're fixing every little thing.
Yeah, so it's like they're like, no, trust us, it's better. But that's part of the reason I rushed out an article, even though I couldn't get too much detailed info because I'm, working on the side of a sidewalk, darting from appointment to appointment in Vegas. But trust me, it is better. it is a whole lot better. Those are both good technologies.
And luckily, unlike the Pulsar thing, which, I mean, there's so many different technologies that come out there, you're like, man, you kind of just need to experience it to, like, understand it. This one, I mean, it's just a driver. So you either turn on in the driver or not, and whatever.
And since you have to do everything through the DLSS override and the control panel for most games anyway, you can, if it doesn't work for you, you can easily just go back to an older version.
Actually, the target frame rate thing, could that even be implemented on the developer side? That I almost feel like that has to be a driver thing.
I don't know.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
what would there be a toggle to be like, hey, hit the multiple frames up until this frame rate?
That makes sense to me, but I didn't go down that line of thinking.
Yeah.
It's interesting though what they're doing with frame rate, because as you were talking about that, I was thinking about a couple of the laptops and a couple of the displays I saw, which are using, variable refresh rate has become a thing in laptops in the last couple of years, and generally it's been like 60 hertz to 120 hertz, and it's been done from a convenience standpoint. So you're looking at a web page and then you're mousing around, and the refresh rate will kick up to 120 hertz, especially if you're on wall power, to give you that smoother experience. But what I was seeing here, which isn't necessarily a big thing, but I was seeing more laptops dropping down to like variable refresh rates to 30 hertz or 40 hertz, which gives you that extra battery life if you're looking at a static web page. So it's interesting that people are taking what was essentially what I would consider to be a fixed function, a 60 hertz refresh rate, and people are playing games with it all the way, up and down.
Times.
Yeah, up and down. Performance versus battery life. It's something I hadn't considered to be really an option.
Yeah, and honestly, like the frame gen stuff with handhelds, that's definitely an equation. It's like, hey, it's one of the ways to maybe get more performance out of something, but having less power draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And before we move on, because we're getting pretty close to the end of the
Sorry,
Nvidia
not
stuff.
performance, like visual frames.
Yes, correct.
Yes,
And
I
I
need to be
love
clear.
that
Yep.
Intel and Tom Peterson especially are being very clear on that, because I agree with that. And this actually touches on that. Before we move on from Nvidia, they had some other announcements. I might cover them in the future. Some of them, RTX Remix Logic looks pretty cool, actually. But I don't want to get into that here. But I think the reason that the dynamic MFG works so well is because of the unheralded part of 4X frame gen that Will and I, at least, keep banging the drum about, but a lot of other sites I really don't see. The GPU flip monitoring or whatever it was. So with the 50 series, now when you're using frame gen, NVIDIA is in control of frame pacing to the monitor. So it can deliver consistent results. And so because of that, I think that's why they are able to dynamically swap between that and keep it feeling so smooth so often. So that's like an underlying feature that a lot of people don't know about in these 50 series GPUs, but it makes a world of difference. Like our go-to example is Star Wars Outlaws feels janky as hell if you're just playing it, but if you throw on DLSS 4, it feels amazing, feels like Doom. And that's
Okay.
yeah. So good stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, let's quickly go through some of the other major vendors, because Lenovo had a big presence here. I mean, we had a lot of stuff there. Asus had a lot of stuff. I mean, so we all had appointments and things like that. But was there any major announcements from any of the vendors that we want to cover?
Do you want to talk about the HP thing? Even though the
Yeah,
HP
sure.
keyboard, even though you saw that before technically CES, but yeah.
You're talking about the gaming side, the HyperX.
No, we're talking about the large
PC and a keyboard.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
The best performing video on the PCWorld YouTube is one Mike Kreider. He's gunning for my job over here. He's a virtual star.
Well, as a well-known keyboard nerd, I found it very interesting. What did they call it? The Elite Board G1A, I believe, is the full title of it.
Correct. And you compared it to a Commodore 64.
Yes. The general idea is that you have all the important functions of a laptop put into a keyboard. You don't have a screen. You don't have a touchpad. So what HP told me is this is designed for hybrid workers who go home and they have their home office. They've got everything they want right there underneath the keyboard, literally underneath it, including a battery. You unplug it, possibly just a single USB-C cable. You take it into work, you plug in a single USB-C cable, and you have a desktop set up in both places.
It's like taking a laptop with you that doesn't have a screen or a touchpad.
And even if you're that kind of worker who commutes pretty frequently and never uses a laptop function anywhere but at a desk or at a table, it's possible to use it that way too. You just plug in a USB-C monitor, a portable monitor, and maybe a mouse, and you've got everything you need. They told me that they're shooting for the enterprise market. That's what they do for their Elite series of everything. And at the moment, they're not really looking at consumer side of things. But if there's interest, they might bring it over. So yeah, I thought that was a really cool design.
I mean,
Hey HP, I'm interested.
Also, Hey HP, it's literally, or that video is over 100,000 views. So I'm gonna say that actually, I was talking to Antonio over at The Verge, and he said his video that he did on Instagram, I think, or short form video on the same exact product. He was like, I did not think that was gonna do so well, and I was like, yeah, ours same thing. So guess what, HP, bring this to consumers.
Was it comfortable to type on?
I'm sorry?
Was it comfortable to type on?
It was a nice laptop style keyboard. It was not a really nice desktop style keyboard. It's not bad. It's not something I would seek out.
Right.
Well, yeah. So I mean, if they did come to consumer, what would you want out of that?
I would want basically the Raspberry Pi 500, which is a low profile mechanical keyboard with a Raspberry Pi tucked underneath it in the case. So take that, add a battery, you got everything I want.
Dang, there you go. Because you would appreciate the portability nature of it, so you want it low profile still.
I would want something that I can plug in at my desk, and then I can take it on the road. I can take it somewhere else, plug it in, have that same experience, have a consistency of files. Like a majority of what I do is web-based now, but just it just feels more comfortable to be in something that I own and I control. Even if I don't need it.
Well, and actually, really quick, somebody in the chat, Whitecross, I think is how you say it, putting a battery inside means that you can plug in some of those like display glasses.
I hadn't
that's
considered
true,
that.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the X-Reel
USB-C,
and get it
yeah,
going.
yeah.
So man, whew.
It's similar to the one that you did not quite a year ago, and it was the Space Top. Is that what it's called?
Right, yeah. A little bit different design. Probably yours was a bit more sophisticated and it worked a little bit better. What were the specs inside of the HP?
I believe it was a full Ryzen, I think 300 series in
Yes,
there.
it was Strix Point. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay, right. Nice.
But it had a lot of RAM and it had a lot of SSD. Like it's a computer.
Wait, it had RAM in this economy?
Was there an active,
Price TBD.
Was there an active fan? I mean, could you hear it running?
There
around?
was active cooling. It was
Yeah.
very low profile. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's laptop guts. That's
of
all
course,
there's
right.
to it.
Did you go to the AMD booth?
I did not. I couldn't get
So
around to
actually,
it.
and I have some photos for you, because when we went to the HP event, there wasn't one that was open. They had an open one at the AMD booth. I got
Oh,
photos
neat.
for you.
And
Oh,
I
that's
asked to open it up, and they said sorry.
Oh,
Well, AMD opened it up, and I got photos
Right.
of the inside.
Awesome.
You know, speaking of which, AMD had a mini PC, the Halo.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, we totally
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Forgot
Yeah, so
about that,
essentially,
yeah.
it was like a reference design.
Yeah, it's
Strix
not something
Halo.
you're gonna be able to buy. It's designed for like developers developing for models because, God bless them, AMD recognized that software is actually easier to upgrade than silicon is. So they've made some great strides in their ROCm development software. ROCm is essentially the essentially the secret sauce that allows the chips to run faster with software is concerned. That's obviously simplifying it. But they've increased ROCm like dramatically in the past year or so, and good for them because it's a hell of a lot easier to get performance when you improve the software than it does with the silicon. So. Yeah, I mean this little thing is I don't know, about the size of a Chrome box.
Did you get to touch it?
I did get to touch it.
Okay,
Yeah, they actually had
I would
one
say
at
it's
the,
about
yeah.
the size of Nvidia option.
I guess so. Yeah.
The DGX
GGX
Spark.
Spark.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
like,
designed to be
when I
so-
first
yeah.
saw it, I was like, this looks very
Yeah.
similar. I mean, but
Right.
listen, mini PCs,
it's
kind of hard.
Compal. They had a compal on the bottom, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
compal's
yeah.
manufactured.
So,
yeah.
no, I mean, being
Yeah.
facetious,
Yeah, nothing you're gonna
but-
be able to buy, but cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it actually did really look like nice. It felt
did,
nice too, and
yeah.
I was like, why are you not selling this?
Yeah.
Like it was actually
Again,
pretty nice.
lots of mini PCs these days, so
I do, and mini PCs are hot. Yeah, so yeah. What other vendors?
Well, Lenovo had 5 billion things at their booth. Yeah.
That's the one I was thinking of,
Yeah.
but you saw them, so I'll
Well-
default to you.
Well, I mean, we were all there, and we all did. I mean, because, gosh, we saw them before CES, we saw them at CES. I mean, I wrote stuff, Mike wrote stuff, Ash wrote stuff. I mean, we had everything from the ThinkPads and the ThinkBooks and the Aura editions. I mean, the showstoppers, I guess, were the Legion rollable. So you have this, an ordinary 16 by 9 display on a laptop, and push of a button and it goes out to essentially an ultra wide. I think was it 23 inches? I think it was max. Which Lenovo, it's interesting because really they do things that other laptop manufacturers don't, and then they keep on doing these things. I mean, we have now 3 rollables. So they had the Think Book rollable like a year ago. Now they have 2 rollables. They have the ThinkPad rollable, which goes up and around, so you actually have a rear-facing display, which you can put some stuff on, which is protected by Gorilla Glass, and it's pretty nifty. And then you have the widescreen. So
they're kind of like Razer, showing off crazy stuff at CES. Razer's famous for that too, but Razer very rarely actually sold that stuff.
Yeah, Lenovo comes through
Lenovo
with
does, and I mean they have tons of proofs of concept, and they generally all come out. So
on that note, I know that the Legion rollable is technically considered a concept or a prototype or whatever, but HP, I told you earlier, I want that keyboard. Lenovo, I want a monitor like that attached to a laptop so bad.
I think people really appreciate the design. Like, obviously, the ThinkBook and the ThinkPad one are more for productivity.
Right.
A gaming use case is what we all would love. So, yeah. I do want to point out, this is something interesting. I talked to them previously. I'm sorry, by them, I mean Lenovo. I had that question of like, wait, why is the rollable, the original one that came out, why is that a ThinkBook?
Yeah, I know,
Hey,
right?
and so they told me is because, hey, if we're going to release something under ThinkPad, it needs to be like a certain level of quality. It's going to go out to our toughest enterprise clients. We need to make sure it's repairability and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that this new one is under ThinkPad, it's like they're here to stay. They seems like they really care about it.
Repairability sounds like the good segue for what you're talking about.
Right? We're going to talk about that later.
Okay,
the best of stuff. So
sure. Okay, fine. But yeah, I mean, as far as they had. Goodness, they had 3 monitor concepts. They had one that sort of, it was kind of funny because it looks at you and it determines, like, it looks at how fast you're blinking, any signs of fatigue. Are you hunching? Are you, God, what else did they show here? I mean, it was like, in a way, it was cool. In a way, it was like the worst work from home monitor possible because, these days, anyone who works from home, in certain industries, has what's called a mouse jiggler, and people, if you know, you know.
What's that, Mark? I've never heard of that ever.
Sounds like Mike doesn't know.
And so, with this, it's almost like sentiment analysis. Are you paying attention? Are you actually alert and working on your task, or are you dozing off at your desk?
Constantly nagging at you.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah,
they have real implementations of that kind of technology in like the delivery and shipping industries, where they're watching you constantly.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so there was that. There was one, and the other one's a little bit more prosaic, where they had like one that just kind of helped you facilitate things on your desk, like provided an easy way to connect your laptop or your laptop and your phone and your tablet and sort of everything on the desk. The other one that was kind of interesting, nice, was that it took it highlighted, certain monitors. You see people who are like, YouTubers that pull off these fantastic shots in games and so forth. Some of that becomes because they have a cursor, crosshairs on their monitor, so that it helps them, actually make that thing. This was a little bit different than that, where they actually pulled out like a section of the screen and blew it up on the side, so like you're playing like I don't play League of Legends or something of that sort, but you can take the mini map and make it a macro map over the side, so it's easier to see. Yeah, those are kind of things that made sense. Not huge game changers, but pretty cool.
I thought that was terrible.
You did think it was terrible?
It was awful. I mean, anything that they were showing is something that should already be in the game, and I would never trust it to adjust that on the fly correctly in a way that I would find satisfying. I was like, no, I can never see myself using
I should have had you in that video. We should have.
You should have seen my setup back in the day. I used to play the original Call of Duty, Gears of War, stuff like that, pretty competitively on a projector TV, rear projector back in the day, one of the giant ones, and I actually like duct tape a crosshair to the middle of my screen.
Wow.
There you go.
Ever supported it back then?
Cheater.
Sharpie.
Yeah, what winner.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Also, speaking of monitors, they had a I think they call that ThinkStation, the big. So it was 2 1440p monitors stacked on top of each other.
Right.
Kind of like, did you guys remember the LG? one that had 240. So
Same basic idea.
Yeah, same basic idea, and this one actually rotated as well.
I think
for
that was
some
an
reason.
all-in-one Think Center, not
Think
just
Center.
a monitor.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right. Also, right next to it, they had a new Think Center tower, which they completely redesigned. Usually, those towers are like real businessy. This one, for better or worse, looked like the newer Mac Pro. I looked at it and I was like, I wonder where you took those design cues, but also it looked really good. And interesting enough, it had everything was mounted sideways so that the airflow went from top to bottom. They had fans positioned to blow through the system. So, and then a separate chamber for the CPU side, and then a separate chamber kind of for the GPU side. And
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was like I wanted to do a video on it, but we just ran out of time because I was like, oh, this is kind of an interesting concept.
Yeah, it's a good point though. I mean, I think Lenovo's. I mean, they used to have this really kludgy bento box aesthetic, and now it seems a lot more svelte and sophisticated across the entire line. Not just ThinkBook, but ThinkPad as well. They're doing some interesting things. Yeah. So.
Also, real quick, I know it's not PC related, but they did have a new Moto Razr folding phone.
They did.
And I love folding phones, and that was their first one, and I was like, it felt really nice. Like I haven't used a Motorola phone in a while. Elena had some concerns and when she was talking about it in Discord, but I haven't used one in a while, and people seem to generally like the Razr that what is that? That's the flip rather than the fold.
Star Trek style.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps that it's half the cost of the equivalent Samsung phone.
Yeah. So
Doesn't hurt.
I played with the Samsung Trifold. I wasn't.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I wasn't impressed. I didn't actually.
You're not a folding phone fan anyway.
I was actually thinking I could have done a blog post, and I was going to actually ask Brad to see if it was justified, but I wasn't sure. But anyways, yeah, I wasn't. I'm not a folding phone person. I'm not. It was like first of all, with a trifold, you have to fold it a certain way. Like you can't just like if you fold it the wrong way, it gives you a little alert. Because I was like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a lefty. Like I wanted to fold it the wrong way all the time, and so
Danger,
it was like,
Will Robinson.
Yeah, so it was just like, no, you can't do that.
I think that's just a matter of muscle memory.
Yeah,
Maybe so.
I'm sure.
Maybe
I'm
so.
sure.
But anyways, I just, the guy was there and he was like holding it open and he was just like showing me different apps, and I guess that's fine. But it just felt like I was gonna like. It just felt a little bit clunky. The one thing that was nice, though, is the fact that, if you do hold it in a candy bar style, all that battery that would normally go behind those other screens gets, essentially pushed to the normal display, which I thought, well, hey, that's good. I mean, I have a thick phone, but at least I got great battery life attached to it, too. So that was a plus. I mean, I'm not going to go out and buy it, but it wasn't, from that standpoint, it was kind of made it a little bit better.
I'm so not a phone guy. One, you can write that article whatever you want. I didn't even know Samsung announced a trifold, so I'm learning
was like
stuff
2
here
months ago.
myself.
This isn't new for CES.
Yeah, it's not new. It's just a chance to play with it. Yeah. But
so Lenovo had a bunch of stuff. Asus, I guess I would say had a bunch of other stuff as well. The laptop side was generally refreshes, but they actually had some introductions into the ProArt line. And then you looked at keyboards. They had a new X-Real partnership. I didn't get a chance to look at that.
I got to try it out. I haven't.
Real quick, was it just like a rebranding of X-Real? Or
The big feature is that it goes up to 240 hertz. That's the only real major difference between the existing designs that they have now. That's why it gets the ROG branding, which I can see why some people would like it. I tried it out on the show floor and just no, I don't like it at all. I can see that technically it's bigger in your field of vision, but the mechanics of it, the way that it feels, just did not appeal to me. Also, because of how physically small the display is, it tops out at 1080p. So if you're looking for just a fully immersive, amazing experience, it wasn't there for me.
I've tried many of those, and I think you have too, right, Mark? Like a lot of those.
A couple of them, yeah.
Those, and every time, it's like the experience is close, but there's always some sort of weird distortion around the edges.
I wanted it to be cool, and it's not quite there.
I can see why Asus was doing it, because they're pushing it hard with their ROG Xbox handheld, and it makes sense as a very natural pairing. But just as a way to play it, I'd rather sit there and look at the screen.
Which is where I usually do it, and I'm gonna out myself here, but usually how I do it is like if I want to lay down in bed and I like detach the Legion Go controllers and just put on these glasses and I just lay there with the arms to my side.
Yeah.
And my wife, who Lindsay, hi, she's in the chat. She'll just look over at me and be like, "You look so stupid right now."
It's Ready Player One in real life.
Yeah, and I'm like, "You're right," but man, it's so comfortable just to lay there and game.
And I could see it like if I'm stuck in coach and some dude is like right there and I can't hold my laptop screen, I can use that instead. That makes sense. But
that's an incredibly situational.
But also,
thing.
I would
$600
never.
I agree.
Also, I would
Completely
never
right.
use those for productivity. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
man, I can't even imagine.
Well,
I
I
don't
take
know.
that back. The ones I've used before, I wouldn't use. I'm not saying that something would be there in the future. Yeah.
I would prefer a full like VR system to that because I do like VR. I use the Meta headset for gaming, and I can see how if you could get over the fatigue issue, that could be a whole day thing. Well, fatigue and battery, but trying to blend them into the real world. No. I want it either fully covered or fully visible.
Yeah. So
Are we gonna do like our favorites of the show later?
yeah, of course.
Okay, then I'm not gonna bring up
you're gonna hold
Asus
on.
yet.
Okay. Yeah. They did have motherboard refreshes. I'll say Gigabyte had some motherboard refreshes. So a lot of people had new stuff for the X3D launch, things like that, different colorways. I will say, and this is something I wanted to do a video on, but just, of course, always run out of time. They finally took away that whole Q release slim feature where they expected people to just yank out the GPU.
Controversially.
So, yeah. So they went back to a button, and I was like, "That's the right call. That is the right call."
Absolutely.
Thank goodness. So yeah, I was very very pleased by that. We do actually have a video on the YouTube channel. I will say it was sponsored by Asus, and they wanted me to cover the router stuff, and they had the world's first demo of Wi-Fi 8, which it was like, yeah,
Pre-certification.
yeah, pre-certification.
Yeah.
From what I understand, I'm not a networking person, but the throughput doesn't change, so the speeds aren't increased, but it takes it gives you better throughput at lower signals and more congested areas, things like that.
Exactly.
They had a little prototype device, and the interesting thing to me about that one is that, I mean, the past number of generations, you think about the ROG, top of the line Wi-Fi 7 stuff. It's like a huge ass device with RGB and like big.
It was like an alien spaceship.
Yeah,
Yep,
or like a
spider,
spider,
right.
laying upside down kind of thing. And for the Wi-Fi 8 one, it was just like a little, like a dice.
A D20, yes.
Yeah, a D20 kind of thing. And I was like, wait, so you're saying you don't need all these things off the side? And they're like, yeah, so, with Wi-Fi 8, we want people to think of that it's smart, and that's the design aesthetic. And I was like, wait, so you're saying all the antennas was the design aesthetic? And it sounds like that was the...
I think it's a great idea. I mean, you just put it on your shelf, and it's not kind of
Well, actually, and they had to, so this was
Yeah.
a prototype,
Right.
like, of the design,
Right.
but they had like a little wall mount thing, so you could literally just like kind of hang it on the wall.
And that's been a design principle for a lot of the mesh networks. It's
Right.
like we want something that looks a little organic that you can put
Yep.
where people can see it and it won't just immediately clash with all of your decor. And when I first saw the Asus prototype for the Wi-Fi 8 thing, I was like, that looks like something I'd buy at Home Goods.
Absolutely,
and
I agree.
Put on my mantle, yeah.
Which, yeah, I appreciate for sure. I mean, I'm somebody who always prioritizes trying to jump to the newest standard early, because I'm usually in apartment complexes, and that's a way to get an advantage of the congestion.
That's clever. I
Yeah.
like that.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
not on the
expensive, though.
pocketbook. Yeah.
yeah.
And early adopter bugs and stuff like that.
Right.
Whatever. Oh yeah, the ProArt 5090. Yeah. The other one was MSI. They had a laptop refreshes, things like that. One of their, I think it was the Stealth, which is kind of like a half creator, half gaming kind of laptop. Kind of really good redesign. Except for there was a couple design changes I was sitting there asking them about that didn't quite make sense to me. And then that Lightning, that 1,000-watt
Insanity.
GPU, insanity. Like it had a 7 or 8 inch screen on the
8 inch,
side,
yes.
8 inch. So they
And
OLED.
it's on the side where it's very much intended to be vertically mounted, so the screen is pointed right out of the side of your case.
It has two 12-volt 2x6 power connectors. they actually specifically in the presentation they said we do not recommend you use the 3 dongle adapter. You use the 4 ones, and I was like, I'm actually surprised they even would talk about that. Like, this is a limited edition 1300 part. Also, at the same time, you probably just want to get a GPU with native compatibility. Like, I wouldn't even want to risk the dongle thing, let alone like just the aesthetics of it don't make sense. Speaking of the power supply stuff, they did introduce an update to
Wait. Do we have any pricing estimates on that bad boy?
They wouldn't say anything officially.
I'm not asking for your guesses.
I would be shocked if it's anything below $4,000. I wouldn't be surprised to see $6,000 at how limited and how niche this is.
I'm gonna hit 5,000.
That was mine too.
Yeah, because like our cameraman Dan was like, "Wait, who is this for? What does this make sense?" And I'm like, "No." Gordon would always say something along the lines of, "This is what LeBron James gets his kid."
Yeah, that's why they're only making like 1,300 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
There are
like-
1,300 people in this world that will pay $5,000 for that.
Easily, and it's just like, why do you do this? Well, number one, the attention. Number two, you're going to make them because, believe me, yeah, there's plenty of people like LeBron James who is like, oh, it's the most expensive thing. That's what I want. I don't want the best bang for your buck.
You know what you should do? You should have a new full nerd segment. Basically, Price is Right.
Price is
You should
Right
basically, you
segment.
should basically
Oh,
have
man.
Willis. You should have
Nice.
Willis or Dan pick out tech items, and you guys would have to guess what the price of it is.
Oh man, and then the punishment is eating floor candy.
Well, I'm just saying. you
Oh,
could
I'm
do it.
in.
Yeah,
I'm in.
yeah,
Let's do
yeah,
it.
$1. You could go, one over. I think it's you should
No,
give it,
I like
give it a
this,
shot.
yeah.
I guess give it a shot.
Yeah, that GP was crazy. It was the teaser demo. Hopefully, it's on YouTube somewhere. But it was kind of cool because they went through the history of the Lightning design aesthetic, and
Right.
they usually bring this out only when they feel like it's an important thing to showcase. And man, I mean, we're getting to the point. Like, we've seen some really crazy radical designs, like the Asus one with the liquid metal and things like that.
Yep.
Where just like, what else can you put on there? I don't even know.
You can put a bunch of gold on there.
No, well, you can put a
Oh
bunch of
yeah,
gold
I
on
mean,
Asus
there.
did do
the
that.
Modern aesthetic,
Uh-huh.
the modern
Yep.
aesthetic,
The
yeah,
Dubai
right,
edition or
yeah,
something
right,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about a power supply.
Power supply, yes. Hopefully, if I have some time tomorrow, maybe I will shoot this video. A couple years ago, at Gordon's last Computex, MSI had introduced the yellow pins to make sure that your 12 volt 2x6, or I guess at that time it was 12 volt high power connection, was fully seated. We did a video on it. A lot of Gordon was like, hey, listen, a lot of people are worried about the connection, so this is a way to at least visually inspect that it's fully seated. They released a newer version of that. I'm sorry, I don't remember the naming, but it was like a plus version kind of thing, which now actually looks at the load across the different connectors. Not only that, you can actually monitor it through a web-based GUI. I think it was web-based. So
Web-based
actually,
and app-based. They gave you
oh,
both. of it.
yeah, on your phone. So you could literally just have your phone sitting there, I guess when you're gaming or something, and just look and be like, okay, is each wire under load specifically? And then if something does go awry, it has a built-in function to say, pop up a flash and be like, hey, something's wrong. We are going to shut down your system, so you better hurry and save. So yeah.
Asus had something similar in the past, but it sounds like this is a lot more polished.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. I don't know. I guess I just thought of Gordon at that moment when him covering that original yellow plug design. So obviously there's a lot of people out there, rightfully so or whatever, that are worried about the whole connector thing, and it does seem like a lot of companies are trying to add features in to maybe alleviate some of those worries, but
What if I told you 5 years ago that we're going to have some sort of crazy new power connector that everyone's worried about melting so bad that all these companies are rolling out bespoke solutions
Well,
to
hey,
kind of make you comfortable with it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess they're very excited to sell you more power supplies as well.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
I didn't go to any of the I went to Asus, but other than that, I didn't really go to any of the major PC vendors. But one thing I really liked seeing at the show, vicariously, I read this via PC Gamer actually, is Dell and the way they approach the show.
Thanks,
Which-
yes, mea culpa.
And they actually haven't been to the show proper in a while, so
Yeah,
the return.
So there were a couple different things that they did that I really appreciated. One, which we covered, is last year they ditched the XPS brand. Everyone said, "Hey, why are you doing that? That's stupid."
It was like the adventure video game pop-up. Everybody hated that.
Yeah, exactly right. Walking Dead style. This year they're like, you know what? You're right. Everyone did hate that. We're bringing the XPS back. So good on them. But
It wasn't just the naming; they brought back the function row. They they made a lot of
XPS.
changes. Yeah.
The other thing I really like is apparently one of their lead guys went on stage and said, you know, last year we were all in on AI. This year, over the past year, we really discovered it doesn't matter to consumers. All of our stuff will have an NPU if you're interested in that, but let's just talk to you about why the XPS rocks, why this monitor rocks. Because consumers, they're not really picking up on the marketing, and it felt so refreshing to hear a major vendor come out on a stage and just say that.
And I think even the consumers who don't agree with me and don't hate AI, if they want that AI stuff, they go to ChatGPT, they go to Claude.
Right.
They go for all that. It's all out there for them to find it. They don't need it embedded into every single piece of technology.
Well,
that
they still,
buy.
like the Dell stuff, to be fair, does still include NPUs. They're like,
Right.
everything here will have an
That's in the
NPU
chip.
if you want it,
Yeah.
but
Right.
we're not going to advertise about that.
Yeah, look, they have AI features, but they're just like, we don't need to be in your face all the time. Let's talk about other stuff, which definitely was refreshing. They didn't talk about that at our briefing when we went to New York in December, so I kind of wish they touched upon it there too. But.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's the right way of handling it, though, because, I mean, yes, we have people like Lenovo, which has came out with their sort of ambient AI, which, you know, people may or may not use. I was a little bit amazed that a company like Lenovo actually came out with that, only because there's got to be a significant portion of their corporate audience who just does not want any of that on their PC, like, you know, turn it off immediately. But at the same time, if you put it in there but you don't actually talk about it, Microsoft is actually trying to do things like their Phi Silica solution, where they're trying to put in, like, not large language models but small language models. And yes, I don't see a whole I don't see the love for recall. I don't see there's a huge need for Copilot and everything in my Windows machine either. But, you know, if they can accelerate a few functions behind the scenes that I don't necessarily know or care about with an NPU, I'm not against that at all. And if you just have that functionality just there, you know, it's one of those things that just kind of delights you as a consumer. Oh, it just all of a sudden works better. So, and I didn't actually. I was originally invited to an AMD roundtable on local AI, and it was just a scheduling error, so I didn't actually end up with it and so forth. But I mean, I was kind of happy in the fact, because it feels like we're just going over the same arguments over and over and over and over and so forth. It's just, you know, there's no movement on the subject. So.
So I was super pumped to see Dell say that. They're like, you want AI, we got it, but we ain't going to tell you about it. So,
Any other vendors that we want to highlight? Any other products that are not our best of show that we found interesting?
not I.
Not really. I mean, I saw Samsung's Galaxy Book 6, which was neat, but not hugely groundbreaking.
We have a video up on
We do.
PCWorld channel.
Yeah, we do.
If you want to
That's
go
at
check
30 hours battery life? Is that right?
Yeah, that's what
That's
about life.
insane.
Yeah, they said they tuned it, and I don't know if that's marketing's fluff or if there's something there or not. But yeah, I mean, you know, again, that number is very fungible when it comes to battery life.
Was that Panther Lake based or?
It is Panther Lake
Oh,
based.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
I to tell you the truth, I've used plenty of those Samsung Galaxy Book devices.
nice.
And for a thin and light device, like, ooh, those are pretty.
Well, they
premium.
were really nice, especially when they were one of the few OEMs doing OLEDs. Now everybody does OLEDs, so one of those advantages kind of disappeared. But at the same time, they were one of the companies that actually brought that variable refresh rate down to 30 hertz, which might be the key behind that 30 hours of battery life. But, you know, still cool. Samsung knows OLEDs, and so you got to give them credit for that. Yeah.
Nice.
One other one I wanted to touch on. If you like the idea of the hybrid PC that gives you everything you need in a very, very portable package, darn it, I can't remember the company name, but the product name was Mind Space PC. Mm-hmm. And they had this, I guess technically it's a mini PC because it's laptop guts in a very small package, but with a proprietary PCIe connector, and you plug it into a regular dock, and it's just the guts there. You plug it into an external GPU, and now their newest one is up to a 5060 Ti. You plug it into what looks like a Surface tablet.
Yeah, I did a story on them.
Yeah, but there's nothing in there
Yep.
except a screen and a battery, and you've got the same PC, take it out, plug it into whatever you want. It's a very cool concept. We've got you've got a full video on it? Or a full
No.
article?
The video didn't come out just because
Okay.
there's everybody's just moving stuff around it. And that's
All right.
why I just did an article.
We may have a vertical video on it. I know I shot a vertical video on
okay.
it that showed it going from the portable tablet-style dock into a desktop dock, maintaining the same stuff. So if you like that HP keyboard PC, this one you can actually buy it as a consumer.
Yep.
That is awesome.
It looked, honestly, I this is going to sound disparaging. I don't mean it by that, but it very much gave me sort of this Body Snatchers vibe. It had this tablet, and then it had this unit that's kind of just attached to the back of it. And it just felt like there was something in the back of my neck.
Well, I mean,
but it's very cool, and I don't mean any disparaging things at all by that.
If you think about it, it is the brain of the computer.
It
just
is the brain
moving
of the
into
computer,
different bodies. So
but
yeah.
the one attached to the eGPU was excellent. I thought that was a really neat product. Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
I thought that maybe 2025 we saw a little resurgence of eGPUs, and I love eGPUs. I constantly chasing that dragon, and I thought, okay, you know what? At some point, it's going to slow down. Thunderbolt 5, maybe reinvigorated it, and then man, eGPU talk continued even at CES. So, I mean, this is before CES, but Asus had announced their GPU. The actually, I think it was Computex or maybe last CES. What was the name of it? I don't know. The external one. They actually introduced a lower end version of the model as well. Gigabyte talked about a 5090. That was at Computex. They had a 5090, and that was a desktop class one. They also announced I believe a 5060 Ti.
That's correct. Yes, I saw it just earlier today, and it's the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte, and it is the full desktop card inside there, not a laptop chip.
Not only that, surprisingly enough, whatever the thing called Pepcom and Pluggable introduced an eGPU, and I was just like, all these vendors like coming out of the woodwork doing eGPU stuff, and it finally dawned on me when I was talking to the Pluggable people, because they weren't marketing it as a gaming thing. Like for the most part,
Right.
like these other brands that we're working with are marketing it as gaming stuff. They were like, oh hey, listen, a lot of people are looking for portable workstations for AI. And so then it dawned on me, I was like, okay, AI is what's pushing this new trend. And I was like, okay, I can't be mad at that. I'm excited for it because I love eGPUs. Yeah.
Rising tide lifts all boats.
Right. I mean, it's unfortunately I've done a little bit of testing with Thunderbolt 5 eGPUs, and so far it's continued to be a heartache. So
yeah, the docks are great, but eGPUs are
the connectivity. So maybe, I mean, good for them that the AI stuff like actually doesn't have the same concerns as gaming. So maybe it actually works out really well for them. So either way, it looks like we're going to continue to get more eGPUs in the market.
It was interesting because I had a conversation with Pluggable as well, and Bernie Thompson is the CTO, and I've known him for a while. And so I asked him, one of the questions I always ask him is just, what's the state of play in the Thunderbolt 5 market right now? And he was just, right now it's essentially it's leaning a lot more heavily towards the Mac market because Thunderbolt 5 isn't integrated in any of the laptop platforms and so forth. But the one thing I did ask him about was tariffs, because I said, it's interesting because I have. These high-end Thunderbolt 5 docks are, above $300. I mean, that's tough right now for a lot of people. And so I was asking him just, comparing those against like up-and-comers like Anker and Ugreen, who are Chinese vendors. And he wasn't naming those companies specifically, but he was talking about some of the stuff that they compete with. And there are companies, in China that he was saying are just like, okay, first of all, the Chinese understand ODMs, they understand manufacturing and efficient manufacturing a lot better than almost anyone. But at the same time, the Chinese government was subsidizing things like some of the building costs, some of the housing, some of the power, the water, even some of the salaries. You take that with some of the issues that they have with IP, They will. He said that they've looked at competitors who are doing some drop shipping and so forth. All of these things are giving some of these Chinese vendors a lot more competitive advantage than they have in the past. And apparently, because of some of the issues that have been going on with the administration, enforcement of those things has been hit or miss too. So the consumers don't care because they simply want the most efficient, best products available. But it's interesting because I've asked him, hey, why don't you just make them in the U.S.? And he was talking about all the competitive things that the Chinese do, and it makes it very difficult for some of these American companies to compete, especially with a lot of these no-name companies who, to be fair, some of these guys coming out on Amazon that I work with in terms of hubs and docks are just excellent products. Not just because of the fact that because some of these guys have started off with no-name products and emerged into quality products, but I mean, like for the docking situation right now, there's like billions of them at this point in time. Hubs and so sort of the same.
You
way.
would know because you have an
Right.
awesome roundup over on PC World.
And they are trying to innovate their way out of that, which is why you're seeing products like what you saw and and so forth, because they're like, if we invent a product that nobody else has, we can sell it for more. That's what it comes down to.
Fascinating.
Funny
Yeah.
enough, it sounds like both of us had really good conversations with the people over at Pluggable, because I specifically, now that I'm trying out Linux, I have not gotten there yet. But if I do any sort of docking with Linux, it seems like compatibility can kind of be a nightmare with a lot of these Thunderbolt docks. So I did press Pluggable, be like, hey, what are you doing for Linux support? Are you doing any compatibility? Are you testing? Are you doing anything like that? And they were like, listen, I mean, we would love it. We love Linux. I guess the founder guy has committed code to the kernel.
Nice.
He's
Wow.
a Linux dude, so he's
nice.
like, we love Linux. The problem is like
3% of the market.
Yeah.
well, but also at the same time, there's just so much compatibility stuff to worry about, and so he's like, yeah, it's not a focus on it for us, but he did give me a nice feeling about it because he said they actually work with Framework a lot. The Framework uses.
Right.
Supposedly uses a lot of their pluggable devices, and I was like, okay, well, I know the guys over at Framework really love Linux as well, so
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that things are, maybe somewhat functional. This is not saying Framework uses exclusively pluggable devices, but it's so that was interesting. Once again, one of the Linux chats I had at various meetings.
Yeah.
Take a shot.
Take a shot, Linux. Oh man,
But-
are we starting to get to that?
The dock you're talking about, though, is not for personal devices. It's a corporate thing, so it's not going to be sold as a consumer product.
Yeah, it was also weird too because they're selling it with, so it had off the shelf GPU
It did.
and
Yeah, that's right.
PSU inside of it,
Right.
but you can only buy it as a full package.
Yeah,
you
it's
couldn't
not-
even
it's not a
just sell
consumer
the
device.
enclosure
Yeah,
by
right.
itself. So I thought that was a little weird, but whatever.
Yeah. I did actually see two Thunderbolt. I saw a Thunderbolt 5 arrangement in the Visa booth. VESA. Visa. I don't know how you pronounce it. Actually, I write it. I don't actually talk
Visa.
about it. Visa. I just write it.
Say
As
Visa.
yeah. Anyway, so it was the cool because it was a full speed Thunderbolt 5. Running a pair of monitors, so it was running. I want to say F1 this game, but it's very rare to see Thunderbolt 5 push to its limits because you got the 120 gigabit, then you can get it to you can basically take the four. You can take normally it's 4 lanes, half and half. It's bidirectional, so 2 lanes going either direction. You can actually get it to the point where you actually run 3 lanes in one direction, so you get that extra bandwidth. And in this case, it was actually using all that bandwidth, which is kind of cool. So I've never actually seen that before. So yeah, that was neat.
That's awesome.
Yep.
All right, do we want to move over to best of?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So if you don't know, at most major trade shows, I guess the CES and Computex really is what applies for PC World. The staff who's here, or actually the staff at home too,
everybody
just gets it together and submits their best of picks. So Brad, you're here. You're the one who helps kind of lead the way on that. Like, what are the requirements to get this award? You know, how would people think of this?
Yeah, we're not picky whatsoever. I try not to police what people consider the best or their favorite, especially when we're talking about things that are probably months out. So if you see some cool stuff and you think it's the coolest stuff you saw here, that's your best pick.
Nice. And yes,
Easy
I mean, sometimes those articles actually get pretty long because we'll have a lot of contributions kind of thing. I mean, we all submitted stuff. Has it gone live yet?
This morning.
Oh, this morning. Okay. Well, I didn't look at everyone's picks, so I'm really curious to check out everyone else's picks. But let's go down the line here and kind of talk about the picks that we had. So, Mike, what were your?
How many are we gonna get? 1 or 2?
I mean, how many did you submit?
I submitted 4, but I'm actually going to bring up one. I'm actually going to bring up one that I didn't include for the list as well.
Oh,
so I'm not going to do 4, but maybe 2.
I mean, hey, do whatever you want.
Yep.
I only So, Mike.
Right. So with the qualifier that this is something that I would never buy for myself, and I'm not really attracted to, I have to say that the ROG, let me see if I get this right, Flow Z13, which is their gaming tablet. It runs on AMD hardware with an integrated chip, but it's basically a gaming version of a Surface-style tablet. They had one that they showed off that is the Kojima Productions version of it.
Oh.
It looks so good.
Oh, and the reason that it looks so good, it's not just Kojima Productions, it is his longtime associate, art producer for the Metal Gear series, Yoji Shinkawa. He's the guy who designs the Metal Gear, who designed Solid Snake's suit, who does all of the Death Stranding hardware. The stuff that he makes it look so real and so tangible, and he helped design this thing. He designed the flourishes, the carbon fiber, the way that the keyboard kind of juts out at slightly inorganic angles. It looks so dang cool. And it comes with a carry case. It looks like something that Sam Porter Bridges would carry along with himself through Death Stranding. Man, that is just phenomenal just for aesthetics and the fact that it's real. It's something you presumably will be able to buy later this year in extremely limited numbers. It made my eyes pop out. It is one of the coolest real products I've ever seen. If we're juicing things to get 2 picks, I'm going to slide one in there. Yeah, do it. Keychron, which is the mechanical keyboard manufacturer I actually use at my desk, but I buy for myself.
Me too.
They showed off a keyboard that is made out of concrete. It is one of their existing designs. The case is concrete. That's all there is to it.
And they had another one that was marble.
One that's marble. Yeah, last year they had one that was ceramic,
for the Kennedy
which is
Center.
kind of like a piano style feeling.
Wait, do they sell these?
Yes. They sell the ceramic one right now, but you can buy. I think it's $220. And they told me yes, they are bringing the keyboard that is concrete and the keyboard that is marble to market. You will be able to buy it soon.
Did you get to type on it?
Yeah. Well, see, the keycaps themselves are not made out of concrete.
Yeah, but obviously I'm gonna assume there's no bend and how did it feel?
I think the concrete one, if I remember right, is one of their existing Q series designs, and the marble one is one of their K series designs, or I may have that mixed up. But it just feels like a super high end keyboard. It's just like 15 pounds.
Okay.
It was cool.
Was it
was cool. I went
polished
over
at
there and
least?
playing with it.
Oh,
The marble was polished.
Yeah,
the
what-
concrete is just
rough?
concrete.
Oh,
It's
wow.
not rough. I think it must
Yeah.
have been like very slightly sanded because it won't
Interesting.
like actually hurt you.
I rubbed
right.
my thumbnail against it, and you can feel texture, but it's not like rubbing your face on a sidewalk or
okay.
anything like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
and if you follow Keychron, you know they do. I think they must be at hundreds of different models now. They do wild stuff, and this, it's just a lot of fun. So yeah, that would be my secondary pick.
Impressive.
How many did you submit?
I only had the one official that went into the article, and that was the Metal
okay.
Gear, the Kojima Productions tablet. But I'm going to mention the Keychron keyboard
Yeah,
in there
okay,
because
okay.
it's just so fun.
I guess I'm just an enthusiastic guy. I had 4, and I have an extra bonus one today. So
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, I won't get into mine yet, but for me, it was just like, oh, hey, I had one main one, and then I had a bunch of ones that would follow up. But yeah, so Mark, well, first off, how many did you submit?
I just submitted one, so
Okay,
it averages
okay.
out.
There you
So-
go. Well, then what'd you?
I mean, like I said, I spent most of my time, at least early on in the show, talking to chip manufacturers, so I had to choose between a couple of them. And yeah, I mean, Panther Lake was my nomination. One of the things that I just absolutely do not want to do is I do not want to call this race early, because I think that for example, Panther has possibilities where it could fall down. I mean, you can look at we don't know anything about CPU performance and CPU specific benchmarks or in applications. We especially don't know anything about how it performs on battery power as well. I mean, that was one of the weaknesses that both of the AMD and the Intel chips had in the last generation. Qualcomm Snapdragon runs at full speed on battery power as well as full power, and that, honestly, while maintaining the battery life, and that actually gives them an advantage, not necessarily a well-publicized advantage, but one that does make sense if you're using it on the road. So, but
funny enough, that's actually what I tested in my benchmarking session was, does the performance profile change unplugged?
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to change that. You
I did, yeah. So I went through the benchmark suite twice, once plugged in, once unplugged, completely unchanged.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, how that translates to battery life, I don't know.
Interesting.
It's a whole separate conversation, but like performance profile was...
Yeah, it takes up a lot of time. I did a lot of testing on that in the last generation where I just ran everything on battery and then everything on wall power and then saw some significant differences. So we'll have to see how that plays out in the course.
That took so long.
It does. It takes forever. The Series 3 stuff. But yeah, I mean... As we spoke about before, I mean, taking it is a show of dominance in a way. They really believe in their product. They're pushing it out for people to take advantage of right away. Like I said, we should have a review unit coming fairly soon, I would hope. Qualcomm, I think Snapdragon X2 is going to be a little bit later on this year, which is kind of unfortunate. I like to have everything sort of around the same time frame because you sort of just, come up with formulate an opinion right away and use that as justification for the entire year. AMD, I asked about, and they gave me it should come along soon too. Hopefully that's the case as well. So, but it looks like Panther's going to be probably first out of the gate with reviews, and from what we see so far, pretty competitive as well. So, yeah.
Was there any runners up that maybe you had considered?
Well, it's funny because I talked to Phison today, and they have a technology, and it's one of those things that has a bunch of different letters, and I have it in my notes, but I don't have it actually with me. And they've got a combination where they're tweaking an SSD to basically. The idea is that they're actually, a GPU is probably the best component to run AI applications right now because everything gets kicked to VRAM. And so they thought to themselves, well, what happens if we ran it off an SSD instead of VRAM? And so their argument is that it's going to be a little bit less in terms of performance, but the thing is that if you keep a conversation with an LLM, it just what it's doing is it's not taking your input as a single unified separate unit. It's looking at the conversation, so it's basically adding tokens. So what your original comment was, and then a follow-up and a follow-up and a follow-up and a follow-up. Over time, your input is essentially growing. And what happens is that because the AI has to accommodate all of that, the response times get slower and slower and slower. And what it does is it basically tries to essentially store those tokens in almost a cache. So the argument is that over time, the performance of the LLM doesn't actually decrease; it stays relatively consistent. So, and they're talking about it everywhere from the server down to the PC. It basically just fits in a normal M.2 slot. And so I haven't seen this in action. Their demos were fairly impressive. They're talking with a bunch of different manufacturers in part because they think that they could add performance. The interesting thing there too is because they are essentially they work with flash manufacturers, and so in lean times they basically go almost back and forth. So right now times are tough in the flash space, but they're essentially calling in favors in their to try to get these things out. So I don't know. I had some conversations with. We don't have to go into them now, but I had some conversations with people about what the RAM market looks like, what the SSD market looks like, and that was one of the things that came up in that conversation was for certain companies, they're calling in their favorites right now to make sure they get their components. So yeah, I thought that was kind of neat.
I was so excited that I literally spilled water all over myself.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's definitely a water spilling technology.
You need to get yourself a straw, sir.
I know, yeah. People in chat are saying they thought that it was something else than what you're drinking. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that vague.
Okay.
Yeah, like a hookah or
Oh,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
yeah,
that kind of stuff. No,
yeah.
this is a yard. What is it? What'd you call it?
Margarita,
Yeah.
Yardzilla.
You're probably about
Yardzilla.
3 shots in at this point.
A foot. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Is it still
well,
cold?
It's freezing. That's why I'm trying to
Oh,
hold
it's
it up.
still
here.
cold. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Anyway, so Brad, please go
Adam.
over your list of best of picks.
Uh,
Do all of them, dude.
I'm not gonna do all.
Come
of them.
on.
But I will do one that I didn't include, and I'm not gonna get too. I'm a foot in. That I'm not gonna get too into here. But that Legion rollable from Lenovo is not one of my official picks. But I didn't see it in real life, so that's why I didn't pick it. I only saw you guys' coverage of it. I love that concept. I love that concept. But one of my actual picks is a tandem kind of pick. I actually awarded it to 2 different companies. I cannot tell you the name of the monitor that Asus is implementing it in. It's an Asus ROG Swift something. There's many numbers and letters.
Yes, right.
But the idea is, sorry for coughing into the mic, but the LG announced the new 240 hertz RGB stripe OLEDs. So a problem with OLEDs, they look amazing when you're gaming, when you're watching movies, when you're doing stuff like that. But they can sometimes just called fringing in text. Text does not look great at all times, especially depending how far you're zoomed in, how fine it is, etc. These new OLED panels from LG, they changed the sub-pixel layout. So the reason that happens is because the RGB sub-pixels are usually in normal OLEDs arranged in a triangle. These ones are actual stripes. And it doesn't absolutely solve the fringing problem, but it makes it look like a normal monitor, basically. So as someone who's been looking to get into OLED, as you know, fringing can be a big issue, and this looks great. You could use this for work and play, which is not something you've always been able to traditionally say about OLEDs. So,
Which is funny because Asus did send over that 240 hertz 4K OLED that they debuted last CES.
Yep.
So I've been using that daily, and that already is like crisp.
Yeah, you notice.
Yeah, crisp and sharp. And so I'm that kind of stuff. The fact that they're pushing that. Funny enough, over at the MSI booth, they have 5th generation Samsung panels that have the same pixel layout kind of thing, and they have a magnifying glass that you can zoom in and look at. And I was just I already thought it was pretty clear. This is actually even clearer. That's wild.
I'm a little pickier than Adam. I had noticed it on OLEDs. It was
really?
it was
Yeah,
fine
okay.
enough that
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. But I didn't do too many formal OLED reviews. I've tested a bunch. I did a review of the Corsair Xeneon Flex, I think in 2023. And I include examples there. So if you want to go back and look at it, that'll show the examples. Now they look great.
Actually, you mentioned it. I didn't think about it until you just mentioned it. And I don't think it's necessarily the best of show, but I was impressed by the fact that we saw in Acer's booth, and I guess LG has one of those too, a 5K gaming monitor, because I thought that's again, it's been 1080p, 1440p, 4K. Now it's 5K, or at least we've got an upper bound. So yeah, that's you always think about stepping up to the next thing. I thought that was kind of cool.
39-inch 5K 2K. It looks great. I saw that too.
Yeah.
They also have a new underlying technology called Tandem OLED, which because it has an extra white pixel thrown in there, and they stack them, and it looks great. I did an article about it. I'm a foot in. I'm not going to go into all the technical details. You can go read them if you want. Should I talk about my second pick now?
Do it.
So this one is one that hasn't even been on the site yet. I think you're supposed to see them tomorrow. It's software. I never thought I'd come to CES and have software as a best of show.
I know what you're going to say.
So I was just wandering through Central Hall the other day and noticed a big dome, and they saw my PCWorld badge and grabbed me. There's
That sounds illegal. He assaulted you?
You should see the street hawkers, man. They're calling me out by name. They got the names on the badges. It's terrible. But yeah, it's called Open Workspace. It just came out of stealth the first day of CES, so Tuesday. I'm taking some time to do a longer article to kind of explain it because it needs some education. But it actually, The point is to get rid of tab hoarding, I guess would be one of the highlight features. Like
you
if you're
say
going to put a
tab hoarding?
like in browsers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you
But-
mean like Elena?
Yeah, like Elena.
Sorry, Elena.
And a lot of
I know she's in the
Called
chat.
out.
I'm
Sorry,
just
Elena.
making a joke. Yeah.
But a lot of folks have that. But they do it in a way because it completely like makes you reimagine the way that you work and workflows within Windows. And it's super interesting, and I can't wait to try it because the mindset they have behind it is similar to something I've already been trying to do with kludgy workarounds with like 6 different pieces of different software. So currently it's launching. I think it's supposed to come out next month. They're announcing it right now. The idea is that it's made for multi-monitors or single big monitors. And you set
You
up...
got my attention.
Yeah. Can you hold this, Adam?
Yes. Oh, wow. That is heavy.
It is. It's halfway done.
Yeah. No, I don't know if that's half.
It had its own physics when I was
Dude,
carrying it earlier.
That's a big
Like,
reservoir at the
when
bottom.
I went around
you
the
were not
corner,
halfway done.
when I went around the corners, like the ball
Oh,
was
yeah.
like swinging, and I was like, but the idea is like I'm gonna use these 4 locos and whatnot as an illustration.
Do it.
So the idea is like you set up a big panel in the middle of your monitor, and that's where you can set up tabs. Like that's what you're focused on. The idea is like this is what I'm doing right now. So you think of it like a work table. That's why I'm doing this. And then there's second periphery kind of things like you might have related to that workspace, and you can take it and put them in that side section. So the idea is that you're looking at what you're focused on. You have like your idea board around you. If you need to suck this in to put it front and center too, it'll happen. I like that already because it's kind of switching from the idea of like application-based focused. Like right now, the reason the tab hoarding exists is because you have to have 500 tabs open in a browser. You're focused on the browser, not what you're doing. So this changes it to what you're doing. But yeah, that's enough. That's enough of that.
So how does this differ functionally from something like Fancy Zones, where you can set up specific areas for yourself?
Fancy Zones is nowhere near as focused as this. Like you might, I think you're scheduled to see them tomorrow.
Yeah,
might
you
dig it.
sniped my interview.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. They sniped me. I was walking by. They had Old Byte magazine workstations on their desk, and so that's what I was looking at, and that's why they grabbed me.
Yeah,
Hits you right in the nostalgia.
Yeah, I'm supposed to see him tomorrow. That's perfectly fine.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But the idea is, for right now, it's all browser tabs, at least in this first bit. It's going to be programs eventually. But the idea is you can instantly save configurations and bring them up with hotkeys. So think of like virtual desktops. But you do this, and it saves as its own proprietary file type that can go between Windows, Linux, Mac. So you can say, okay, I want to look at my Tampa Bay Buccaneers news. Hit Alt+1, and it'll instantly bring up exactly what you were just looking at. So it's focus-centric rather than application-centric. And it's incredibly responsive and fast, and you can just like cycle through real quickly between like, okay, I'm setting up the PTO stuff for the weekend. That's this project. I'm doing work stuff. That's this project. I'm gaming now. That's this project. And just cycle through them super duper fast.
All right.
Pardon me. And I find it super cool.
What was that name again?
Open Workspace.
Open Workspace.
It's supposed to come out next month. But what's cool is that you can share those. And then if you have Open Workspace installed on your own system, you can instantly open those same things as well. So I personally would love to use this just like for my personal computer. But I could picture like Fortune 500 companies, like picture you got a bunch of training docs. Rather than send somebody a bunch of URLs and stuff like that, you just send them, hey, here's your package. And it opens up and shows you exactly what you need. It's actually super
Yeah, that
cool.
makes sense. That makes sense.
I kind of do a kludgy workaround right that now because I mostly work off my work laptop, sometimes connected to a monitor.
So
Drink time.
apologies for asking this, because obviously you're not exhibiting it for me. Is it smart enough to differentiate, to adapt, say, like I've got a 34-inch ultra-wide monitor in front of me and I'm setting this up on that, and I send it to someone who's using a 14-inch laptop?
They were only using all the same size. I didn't. He was more explaining the underlying technical concepts and how it works than getting into the nitty-gritty like that. Hopefully I can get into it.
Also, real quick, we're going to take a shot because you mentioned Linux. Do they have Linux support? Yeah. A little shootout, yeah.
But yeah, it looks super cool. I guess in the future they're looking to add stuff like automation to it. Like right now it's all local and stuff like that. But so you can say, okay, if I have Tampa Bay Buccaneers news for this particular workstation, go Bucks. Screw the Panthers. If some Tampa Bay Buccaneers news pops up, Todd Bowles still going to be the coach. It'll automatically pop up your workspace or give you an alert. So the idea is like focus groups rather than application groups.
Wait, it sounds like you really want Tampa Bay Buccaneers news.
I always want Tampa Bay Buccaneers news, but the season ended too early. There's one other little bit. I forget.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, people are going to have to go read it.
They're going to have to go read it. It's not done yet. It's going to be up tomorrow. It's super cool. What I was going to say is that I actually use a kludgy workaround doing this, using virtual desktops, as well as I paid money for Stardock's Groupie app, which lets you like bundle different programs into the same window in browser tab-like fashion.
Yeah, right.
So like when I'm working for work stuff, I'll have like a window that has a Word document in it, an Excel document in it, the CMS, so on and so forth. It works for the most part okay, but it gets super. It's doable, but it gets janky between using that, switching from virtual desktops, all that kind of stuff. This is just like a much faster, much more elegant solution that kind of makes your brain think differently than the way Windows traditionally has.
That's cool.
And it scratches the right itches for me.
Cool. I dig it. Speaking of having to check stuff out on the site, I guess if people want to get your other picks, go over to the
PCWorld.com.
I think I linked it in the description for the best picks. Maybe I didn't. Double check that for me, Willis, please. Oh, by the way, Willis is here. He's controlling the verticals and horizontals. I'm sorry I forgot earlier.
He came and saw that with me. So.
Nice, nice. Okay. Wait, did you do a video?
We tried to.
Okay.
We ran out of time.
That's fine. That's fine. Well, yeah, maybe Mark can do a vertical or something when we're over there.
Possible, sure.
Anyway, let's get to mine. My main one is what I'll cover is Ventiva, which has the ICE system that they had debuted at CES last year. Talked with the Dell thermal engineer. They were partnered with Dell and Intel to say, hey, we're working on this stuff. For those who don't remember, it's a silent cooling solution, different in technology compared to Furore, which was XMEMS in their airjet systems. This ICE technology uses a thin wire to magnetize, I don't know, but whatever, it's science, okay?
Yes, right.
Science!
Right, yep.
It's supposed to replace fans. Fans are old, they're stodgy.
They're loud.
They're loud. The idea is that there are still these companies that are coming out with maybe futuristic new ways to cool stuff and do it silently. Anyway, one of the problems up until this point, especially for Furore and Ventiva and companies like this, is that they're working with companies in the background, and a lot of what they show publicly is like retrofits. So they'll buy a device and then essentially strip out the fans and replace it with their technology and show it to the public. Oh, look, it's the same performance or maybe even better performance, but now it's completely silent. The problem I've had, at least, is that, and I think probably people in the chat too, is that like you're starting to get a little fatigue of like, okay, cool, you did a retrofit. I get it.
We get what could happen.
Yeah, you want to. I kind of want to start seeing from the ground up designs, because every time we would see one, they would say, "Oh, and by the way, this is a retrofit. Imagine what we can do with a ground up based design."
Right.
So Ventiva actually went and worked with Compal, which, if you don't know, there's some major OEMs that produce laptops for maybe other makers.
Yep.
Compal's one of them.
A big one.
And so Ventiva and Compal made a reference design laptop from the ground up with both Intel and AMD. So it's a laptop that you're not going to be able to buy. This is not something they're going to sell, but it was designed from the ground up with this ICE technology. And like what they were showing was really cool. I couldn't test it, anything like that, but they were saying, hey, listen, not only are we matching performance, in some ways we're actually exceeding performance, and we're doing it completely silent. So it was, I mean, there was other stuff, like one of the small details they were talking about is that that usually when you're having to come in from the ports and, you know, say route Thunderbolt, you're having to go down what they call a pinch point. If you think about like a laptop motherboard, it's rectangular, and then you usually have two cutouts for the fans, right? And so they have to route those traces down underneath the fan cutouts to get to the CPU, and a lot of times maybe there's a repeater to help with the signal, things like that. In this one, they're saying, hey, we could just go straight to the CPU. You don't have to have a repeater, things like that. So it actually maybe can help cost or offset cost for maybe this new futuristic design. Anyway, a lot of cool stuff. I love seeing it. And just a small little side note is that on the back, it was transparent plastic to show the implementation. And I was like, that's hot shit. As somebody who, you know, was in the high school in the 90s, I love transparent plastic, and I know they're not going to sell it. I know, you know, this isn't a Ventiva thing. They were doing it for utilitarian purposes, but I was like, laptop makers, please add more transparent plastic to laptops.
You might be able to get that with a ThinkPad rollable.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, like, I feel like we were starting to see maybe a little trend. You know, I don't know. Anyway, so that was cool. I wanted to award that for sure. It was really cool. My real major one, which I was like, okay, well, this is best of show. Just the minute I saw it, was that the Lenovo introduced the new ThinkPad Carbon X1 Gen 15. I don't know. It's somewhere in the teens, I think, at this point, and it's essentially the same design. And they said, listen, we're really happy with how thin it is. We're really happy with how light it is. Instead of going back to the drawing board and trying to shave off a millimeter or maybe a couple ounces that no one would notice, they decided to completely redesign the internals to make sure that that it was more repairable.
You love to see it.
Yeah, yeah. So like the way I frame it is like, in all this talk that people are like, oh, you know what, the industry's hunkering down, prices are bad, people are going to have to get longevity out of their devices. The fact that they introduced a laptop that is more repairable was like, wait, why?
The right laptop at the right time.
Right? And it's not only that. When we were at HP, they also had an EliteBook, or EliteBook, yes. That video actually I haven't pushed live on PC World yet, on the PC World channel. The Lenovo one is live if you want to see it. But they also had I shouldn't say highly, a more repairable laptop than they had in the previous generations. And it was really interesting to talk to the PMs about this stuff. The HP PMs were attacking it from a little bit different of an angle, like saying like, IT managers, it'll be easier to get in and, maybe swap in some configuration stuff. But the Lenovo one, and why I actually awarded it to the Lenovo one instead of the HP one, is that they literally sat down and was like, okay, you know what? We're going to redesign and optimize. We're going to optimize everything in here to have it repairable. And I was like, come on. Well, usually in these repairable designs, like a framework, something's got to give. Maybe, polish, or maybe a smaller battery, or what.
A little bit thicker.
Yeah, maybe a little, something. I was like, something had to give to make sure repairable was a thing. They're like, no, we redesigned the motherboard. The motherboard they showed us was like a third smaller. And because of the space savings on that, they were able to get a little bit bigger of a fan. So actually this performs better while being more repairable. And so literally you're getting a benefit out of it, multiple benefits out of it. Yeah, and I was just like, man, I love this story. This is a feel-good story in a in this market right now. I guess the only downside for both the HP and Lenovo one are these are business laptops. Like, I mean, obviously, maybe you can buy this ThinkPad or something on the store shelf, but for the most part, they're keeping in mind the enterprise customers.
X1 Carbons, they're considered like prosumer, so they're definitely going to be available. You can buy them, but they're just going to be more expensive.
Okay.
And I was impressed that they introduced both of those design updates in Lenovo for that particular one, for both the regular X1 Carbon and the 2-in-1. It has that same.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, they had a 2-in-1.
And that's something you usually don't see in a convertible laptop. So.
Yeah. So go watch my video, because, I mean, I didn't unscrew it live as a demo, but like it was literally a matter of 4 screws to take the back plate off, and then I think it was 4 screws to take the battery out, and then another 5 screws on the bottom side to then release the cover that has the keyboard, and you're just like it was dead simple. Like I completely tore down the whole system, like, you know, in a matter of seconds, and I was just like, this is awesome. This is awesome, and I feel like it needs to be awarded. And both companies, I was like, well, do you have plans to bring this down to consumer? You know, and then they, of course, you know, they're not talking about future products kind of stuff. Like HP actually did push back a little bit, and they're like, no, we think consumers prefer, you know, things real thin and light, and how many people are really going into their laptops, you know, kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, but come on, all these companies have multiple lines of laptops.
Right.
Dedicate one of them to maybe being more repairable, and just see what happens. Like I have a feeling that people would appreciate it, but you know, maybe I'm wrong.
I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure our crowd would too as well. So,
yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. For me, like, once again, I saw that and I was like, this is hopefully a trend we're going to see in the future for sure.
Can I do one more quick one?
Yeah.
All right, it'll be quick. I was so excited about this because I saw the press release and I thought it was going to be a trash fire, but it turns out that it's not. So it's from GameSir. 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 They make gaming controllers. This one's called the Shift Drive. It has a force feedback racing wheel built into the middle, smack dab in the middle, like where the Xbox button is on Xbox controllers.
How tiny is the wheel?
Tiny enough. It's
okay for audio.
You know, maybe
it's
the
like,
side of a
like
medium
2-inch.
Coke, a smaller medium Coke at a Burger King. Oh no, the lid.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
And
Well,
I'm
how did it feel? So you're controlling it with
Yeah,
just your
you're
thumbs.
using your thumbs, and I'm like, this is gonna suck.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like
There were
it's
there were a
suck.
couple of controller designs like that in the 90s that had a very small wheel that would
Yeah,
that you
and
would
they were
do in
terrible.
addition- Yeah.
Yeah, but
And?
this is awesome.
Oh.
Like they managed to design it perfectly somehow. Like it has just the right amount of pressure to turn it and stuff like that. It fits just right in your hand. It's not too stiff, so you don't feel like you're fighting it, but it's also not loose, so it doesn't feel sloppy. But then it also has force feedback in the middle, and you can still reach all the buttons.
That's interesting.
And they had like a little custom video game demo kind of set up that had all kind of racing. Like you could go up ramps and go over bumps and stuff. And it has force feedback. And I loved it. Like it's supposed to come out sometime in Q2. If it's under $100, I'm going to buy it just to play with it. I was utterly shocked.
That's wild.
I went over there mostly to be like, is this as bad as I think it's going to be? And I'm like, wow, this is actually awesome. So GameSir Shift Drive, check for it in Q2. It was dope.
Okay, nice. Is there any? I'm assuming you have you guys all read the articles or the best of article?
Actually, I have not.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, but
I
you
have.
yeah. 'Cause you had to put it together. So I assume, thank goodness, somebody has. Is there any other picks that maybe you want to highlight that other people submitted that you thought is worth bringing up?
I think we did a pretty good job here, actually.
Okay, well then, yeah.
Like there's some
go to
other
the
ones that are
article.
like different stuff, like for home decor and stuff like that, and a couple different other little things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you know.
Did Elena submit?
Elena submitted and Catherine both did that HP EliteBook G1A, the keyboard
Oh,
mouse.
nice,
Like
nice,
that
okay.
thing. The only
obvious.
reason I
That's an
didn't
obvious
put that
one.
in
That's a
is
good one.
because I
Yeah.
knew they were.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
that's a very
yeah,
that's a
yeah,
great
right.
choice.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
HP, the people love it. Let them buy it.
Yeah.
Wait, can we award it 3 best of shows?
Could have.
3 separate PC World staffers had picked it. Yeah, Elena, tell us why in the chat. Maybe why you like it so much. Okay, well, I guess we're starting to wrap it up here. This is the end of CES 2026. Mike, this is your first time joining us for PC World. You've been to CES before. What was the experience like for you?
This was also the first time I've done anything dedicated to video. So we've got, I think, over 20 vertical videos, if not available now, in the pipeline. So you can go out there and just see what it's like to wander around and find neat stuff. Not the exact words that I was instructed to find, but yes, I think we went out and found some interesting things that were in the little catty corners of the show.
Yeah, I tell everybody go find cool S word.
Yeah. I would say, for context, the last time I was here personally was 2020, right before everything happened. I think it's just a little lower than it was in terms of like intensity level back then. I don't know how it was afterwards. I heard it was quite reduced right after the pandemic. I'd say we're getting back to that level.
Yeah, I would too.
So it's a trip. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. It's incredibly exhausting. But this is one of the experiences that I came into this job trying to do. So it was fun to get back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the team, right? Like I feel like it's always like a team bonding kind of thing because we're all kicking butt.
And there's really no way you can cover the show except for with the team too, because it's just too much. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you'd have to be almost like hyper specific. Like Russ from Richer Game Core is here, and obviously he's just looking at gaming handheld kind of stuff. So it's like, okay, well, if that's your laser focus, then sure, I guess. But also, there's literally just so much that you can't cover everything.
We've covered so much, and I feel like we've covered like 0.5% of what's here.
Yeah, no, I would have loved to have been split myself into 3 people and seen different things.
I went to the GameSir booth, and I didn't see that. And I tried to see everything that he did, and I just completely spaced
They had
on
it hidden around the corner.
I got to go check it out tomorrow.
Nice. All right. And Mark, how was this? I mean, you've been to many CESs. Like, what? Yeah. How does this compare?
Oh, I would agree with Mike. I think it's back to its full speed. I mean, the hallways are crowded. I mean, there's just mobs of people going everywhere. I'm like a lot of others. I haven't had even a chance to get over to the main show floor yet because I've been stuck in the Venetian, which honestly, a lot of the PC vendors are here and there's a lot of stuff to walk around. And I haven't seen really many of those either. I would have liked to have seen more. So, it's a case where I simply can't be everywhere at once, and I would like to be. A couple of things. I will just briefly bring up something that we haven't spoken about yet, and then I talked to both Micron and Phison and a couple of other and OWC. Right now, one of the questions that everyone's asking about is how long is this RAM shortage and this SSD shortage going to go? I'll probably have a story up hopefully tomorrow, but basically quickly, everything that I've heard says RAM is supposed to be heavily constrained for, and I'm sorry to say this, but 2 years is the word I'm hearing, and then
that's conservative to some of the ones I've heard.
Yeah, I know, and SSDs 6 months or more. It's a little bit less because there's more vendors, but yeah, so things are going to suck for a while.
Probably SSD manufacturing can ramp up in a way that the RAM manufacturers don't.
There's more coming to market. Like, for example, I talked to Micron, and they're bringing manufacturing in. In fact, they're pulling their CapEx in from 2027 to 26. But there's only so much they can do. I mean, it takes years to ramp a fab.
Did you talk to Micron at all about the crucial stuff?
Yeah. So the point that they want to make is the fact that they are still selling to consumers. They're just not selling directly to consumers because they're selling to OEMs.
Good. That was a big question mark.
Yeah. So I talked to their VP of there's the 2 VPs for client and mobile, and that was like one of the things that they just wanted to emphasize. They just said, hey, the positioning is right. We're not selling directly to consumers, but we're still selling to consumers. So we just want to make that point. We're not expanding the market because why would we? They say basically it's like previously was like 30% consumer, 30% business, 30% server, if I have those proportions correctly. Now it's more emphasis is obviously on the like AI, the server side of things. I mean, and why wouldn't they sell there? They were trying to make the point, and I certainly agree with them, is that they are not the bad guys. They're simply because memory manufacturers go through these boom and bust cycles where they have to. I mean, right now they're basically recouping the tough times they faced a few years ago. When demand fell. So they're like, this is just the way the business works, and we're not trying to actually, we're not trying to actually, soak the consumer to pull profits from them.
It's so cyclical that if they spend $3 or $4+ billion to make a new, fab, and then 2 years from now it's useless, then they're eating it big.
They're trying. I mean, there's really no. Again, there's no safety belt that I've heard of. DDR4 is on the way out. DDR5 is just being sucked up. SSDs, there's really no capacity points or anything of that sort that people are trying to do. The one point they did make with SSDs is they're trying to the latest. There's, unlike, say, GPUs, which people have talked about bringing out older GPUs to sort of reduce the costs. They're like, if we go that direction, then it becomes even worse. The latest technology, the latest SSDs have more bit density than the older generations. So we want to drive as fast as we can afford. and that benefits everybody. So that was an interesting point. I hadn't thought about it.
Which side note, I forgot to touch upon this earlier, but mention of AM4.
Right.
What was the talk around this with AMD?
There was a question about whether they would come out with, there's a question about whether they would sort of
resurrect
AM4,
yeah,
because of DDR4 and because of just the. I don't have anything definitive to tell you. Yeah. I think some other people. I think there was a report that basically just left the possibility open, but
I actually wrote an article about this.
Yeah, right.
You'll
Maybe
find
was
it on
Tom- was it
PCWorld.com.
Tom's that reported it? Yeah.
Tom's was busy. Tom's Hardware, they do good work as well. They were busy asking at all the different roundtables, what that kind of stuff, where you bring back old stuff, and they got responses from both Nvidia and AMD. And it sounds like AMD is actively looking at bringing back AM4 to try to keep overall PC prices
Everyone's
down.
looking for an escape route right now. There's just different ways of approaching it. So.
I actually did ask somebody at AMD as well, and it was just like, hey, listen, like people, we're going to continue to keep manufacturing AM4 as long as people still buy it, and that's actually the same message they've had for years.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, Brad, how was this? You weren't able to come last year.
I wasn't.
But yeah, this year, what do you think? How
This
you
year I
feeling?
don't have COVID, so
Oh,
it's
that's good.
already on the upswing.
Boom, knock on wood.
But this is actually one of my favorite CESs, actually.
Oh.
Not just because, like I said earlier, I've worked with Mike since I think 2022.
Yeah, a little
And-
over 4 years now.
Yeah, never met him. So it was nice making sure he's not AI. But on top of that, this is my 5th or 6th, 7th maybe CES. I've been to several CESs, and as you guys know, it's usually hanging out with the PC vendors at the Venetian or running from hotel to hotel, checking out pre-briefs like in suites.
Yep.
This is the first time I was able to go to the Las Vegas Convention Center. And the reason I was able to do that was because we experimented with running a live blog this year, which actually people liked it and a lot of people read it. So hopefully some of y'all did. If not, check out next year.
Did it get renovated? Is it new? I mean, they made some changes over the convention center, right? Didn't they?
I don't know. It's my first time.
Oh, right. I guess, okay. Sure.
So this is my first time going to the convention center.
Okay, fair
I've
enough.
never
That's
seen
right.
anything at that scale.
Okay. All right.
It's a whole lot bigger than
huge.
the Los
Yeah,
Angeles
yeah.
one. I've been to E3 a couple of times. I have blisters on my feet from the one day that I spent at LVCC.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun checking out not just the traditional PC stuff, but also going around and being like, oh, cool, here's a robot that's kind of like a cat that follows the sunlight around to solar charge and all these different holograms and stuff like that. And putting it on that blog, it's a little bit different what we normally do. It's very different from what I normally do. So I had a lot of fun with it between that, meeting Mike, still doing all the normal stuff that we did. I had a great time. How about you, Adam?
Hey, thanks for asking. Great question, Brad. Yeah, sorry.
Fantastic question.
Yes, sorry. Just keep hearing that every every
Great question.
meeting.
Let me tell you about AI.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Have you heard my AI strategy? No. Tell you the truth, this one's a little bittersweet because this actually marks my 10th anniversary of going to CES. Like
We met at CES.
yeah, I've only been to 9 CESs but that's because the 2021 one we didn't go there. So, but it's been 10 years, and it's just like I definitely was thinking back over the years of the different CES we've been to, and each year has been different in different ways. Not only from the way we cover it or the people we're here with, but also just the announcements at the show, things like that. I mean, from an announcement perspective, yes, it was way more sleepy, and especially when the major vendors don't have like a ton of groundbreaking stuff, the attention from everyone else just kind of gets a little diminished too. So it's hard to get like a standout and whatever. Anyway. But also, it's just like, man, it is weird how some of it is the same. I mean, like the paths that we take to the different appointments, I'm just like, okay, I know, I just go blind because I know how to get to this room.
I haven't
know
been
how to
here
get
in
to
2
this
years,
room.
and before that, it was pre-COVID. And I walked into the Venetian, I immediately knew where to go to get to the
Right.
plaza.
Yeah. You build up that muscle memory, but at the same time, it still feels fresh and different. And actually, like, especially when something's a little bit off and different, it almost kind of freaked me out. There was like a party that usually happens at one place last night, and I was just like, oh yeah, it's going to be here again. And then somebody was like, oh no, actually they changed it. And I was like, what? That rocked my world. This is just not how things go. But then also, I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's about the people. You know, our team here, getting everyone together, working our butts off. That's part of it. Being able to meet with vendors, being able to meet with other industry people, like just catching up with people. It feels special.
I 100% co-sign, especially as someone who doesn't work in the office, works on the opposite coast. Like, this is one of my favorite times of year.
Yeah, and it's obviously stressful. It's obviously a lot of work. Many nights of like 5 hours of sleep for me at least, and it still makes it worth it because I feel lucky. I feel privileged to be able to go and check out this stuff, talk to awesome people, be with an awesome team, and make videos for you guys. So I appreciate it. Yeah. And of course, pour one out for Gordon. I got his Coors Light here, and I will say, just to wrap it up here, there was a special project that Willis put together that I want to highlight because it was a really cool little touch. So for those who don't know, the Chinese New Year that's coming up has it's the year of the horse, and not only that, I guess the element is fire. I'm sorry, Willis knows the details on that stuff, but Willis came to me and he's like, "Hey, listen, we have a horse that deals with fire. Can we do something to help celebrate?" And so he commissioned a local artist to make these wood block print red envelopes. Yeah, there we go. So a red envelope. It's got the outrage pony on the front. It's got the little full nerd logo in the back. It's got the artist's signature on the back. And so we gave this to select people in the industry who know they would appreciate it, because obviously Gordon is the one who coined the term outrage pony, and luckily 2026 of the Chinese New Year is the year of the outrage pony, the year of Gordon. So yeah, this is actually your copy. So
Thank you.
As the co-host of the Full Nerd who started it at the very beginning with Gordon.
I very much appreciate that, and I tell you what, I'm probably gonna get a tattoo of this later this year. So I'll start saving my money right in here.
Yeah. So thank you again for
Thank you, Willis.
Willis for putting that together. That was a really cool project. Diana Lee? No. Yeah, Diana Lee was the artist, and that's L.I. So, Willis wants to get on mic here.
Just real quick, just want to shout out to local Bay Area artist Diana Lee for making the red envelope that she used. She's a multidisciplinary artist who used wood block printing, so it's a really nice touch. And
yeah. Actually,
this is actually really well done. This is spectacular.
Yeah. Though these are, these are hand printed. Is this on autofocus or no?
No.
Okay. Well, is it just blurry if I do this or no?
Blurry.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll show it off when it's Lunar New Year as well.
Yeah. We'll show it off Lunar New Year. Maybe we'll set up the overhead camera. Or something
Mark and Mike, I have extras for you guys too, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Touching. Thank you.
Yes. Really cool stuff. Not Lunar New Year. We're not celebrating it, but it's a cool little touch. We wanted to give it to some people in the industry. So, anyway, that I would say that wraps up the Full Nerd. Unless anyone else has any parting thoughts.
Teaser for tomorrow: AI sex robot. Got a little bit
of
Oh, Adam.
A little bit of coming.
I have a teaser for tomorrow too.
Okay.
We have a Full Nerd newsletter as well. What's the URL for that again?
Hold up. Are you talking about PCWorld.com/newsletters with an S/sign up?
Something like that. I would trust him over me.
You really need to get. Please help me get a better URL for
I'm
this.
trying. That's my New Year's resolution. But Elena actually has a really great newsletter going up tomorrow. We didn't do Full Nerd until tonight, but she did a great CES recap.
Yeah, she's done
that. Even though there weren't as many major announcements from the major vendors, there's a lot of really cool stuff on the periphery, like super crazy stuff like we were talking about with the HP keyboard. It's just a really positive take on it. So sign up for that as newsletter. It'll show up in your inbox tomorrow morning, and I really enjoyed reading it earlier. So
that's awesome. Yeah, no, and that is PCWorld.com/sign up/newsletters.
We got to get that fixed.
No. Hold on. Okay. I'm tired. PCWorld.com/newsletters with an S/sign up. So the Full Nerd newsletter that Elena is writing. If you want to tune into the show, we will be doing it on our normal schedule next Tuesday. Usually we end up doing like a post CES analysis as well. Will has some thoughts. I've talked to him. Obviously, he's not here with us at CES, but he's got thoughts. I'm curious to see what he thinks back at home base. Yeah. And then we have the audio version. You can subscribe over on anywhere the RSS feeds point to. Pocket Cast, YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple something, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So Willis, what you're flagging me down? Oh, we have super chats. Is that what you're going to say?
And I have some comments saved as well. If we have time to go over.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't you? Yeah. Well, real quick, I do want to. Oh no, I don't know how to get to the super chats, Willis.
From the phone?
Yeah. Oh no, here we go. I got super chats. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
So super chat, the from Skeet Sayer gave us $5 Canadian. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Said, so where I live, the 9070 XT is $899 and the 5070 Ti is $1,700. Wow. Okay.
Man, get a Radeon.
Would you pay almost double for 10 more FPS?
Nah.
Yeah, that is wild. I don't know where you live and why it's so different, but that's crazy. Skeet Sayer gave us $5 more Canadian dollars. Thank you so much. Said the best deal in PC right now is probably a pre-built from early 2025. Yeah, right. Probably.
Yeah. Or mini PCs. Mini PCs, if you don't need discrete graphics, they're looking pretty good.
I think they're also just saying that, if you bought last year, hold on to it.
I hope you listen to Mark and bought during Black Friday.
Yeah, a friend of mine was waiting for weeks and almost a month to get her kids and herself a new PC and like asking for advice. She wanted to build it, and over Black Friday there was a Micro Center deal, and was like, "This is $1,000. You're not going to see a deal like this for possibly another year. Jump on it."
OWC said their SSD pricing was higher on Black Friday than it was in the early November.
Really?
Yep.
That doesn't sound like a deal.
That's how bad things got.
Oh God! Well, okay. Keep going down. Skeet Sayer gave us $5 more Canadian dollars. Thank you so much. Yeah.
This was a $5 Pepsi, by the way.
There you go. Boom. Said best innovation at CES was the Lenovo laptop that expands from 17 inches to 24 inches. Yeah, look at that on the same wavelength.
Skeet Sayer, he's smart.
And one more $5 Canadian $5 super chat from a friend of the show, Skeet Sayer.
Thank you.
Says, I love how people promote Nvidia when the PS5 and Xbox are porting games to PC using AMD hardware. Yep, boom. And then we just got just fresh in, we got a $10 super chat from friend of the show, Schmitty. Thank you so much. Said, this is for the tattoo fund for Brad.
My man.
So there you go.
It's been a couple years. I need a new one.
Yeah, there you go. We'll get the outrage pony going on you. So, Willis, you got some comments?
I got a few comments earlier from the stream. One, Lindsay Murray. Hello, Lindsay.
Hello.
I thought this Brad was gonna finish the drink during the stream.
Ooh.
So how are you?
Drink
Brad?
check. Drink check.
Chug.
No.
Hold that up on camera. Yeah. you're
looks like you're gonna have to go.
that's like halfway, right?
They always say at work
Smelling
events,
it.
don't drink more than your boss. So have a fun last couple nights in Vegas, guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Our boss John Phillips is gone. So yeah. Now we have to drink as much as you do.
Right.
No, you
You're-
just
you're
can't.
the boss.
You can't drink more.
Oh, you can't drink more.
So-
Okay, there you
I
go.
don't think you
You raised the ceiling for all of us.
You're welcome.
And then friend of the show, Eddie Matrix, asked or said, "Careful with Four Loko." Can you explain Four Loko for me? Adam?
That's not legal in my state.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, you can't buy that in my state.
I didn't know that.
Well, but because it's alcohol with caffeine, so
And it's extremely high percentage.
yeah. So
Live free or die.
But
I was
No.
curious about that. I wasn't
I'm
sure
from New
what it
Hampshire,
was.
the live free or die state, and they're
Yeah.
like, you will die if you
You
drink
will
that.
die.
You are not allowed to buy
See,
that.
but I thought they ended up taking the caffeine out of it. Wasn't that like?
Did it say caffeine free on it?
I don't know. I'm not allowed to buy it.
Yeah, I don't
Who
know.
wants to drink it?
For some reason, I thought they like that because of that whole thing.
ain't
They
touching
took the
it.
caffeine out. I don't know. We just, to tell you the truth, Dan, our cameraman, was like, "Oh, this would be funny if you had it on the table." We're not going to drink it.
Well,
so.
many people in the chat did notice, so that's why they brought it up. It was like,
Yeah.
but I
Also-
didn't know about it. So
Also, listen, American flag. Gordon loved the American
yeah, of
flag,
course.
so it works.
yeah. And then last comment from Inferus. This is the battle of the beards, not including me, but you guys. I was like, you guys are rocking the beards really well.
I did notice that. Yeah, we got.
Yeah. Dang
going
it.
4 ways here.
Look at that. Okay.
That's it.
I don't think anybody can beat Brad. No, if this is a
No.
battle, he wins.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
this. I got this trimmed up before I came.
I
out
know.
here.
I was about to say. I was like,
bet.
actually,
Yeah.
it's trimmed
Now,
up
see,
real,
if
like
Mike
really
Brown
nice.
was here, we'd have some competition. Yeah.
I mean-
Actually, I ran into Jim Pryor, who used to be a guy
Oh,
at
yeah,
AMD in
right,
the
right,
street
yeah, exactly,
earlier,
yeah.
and he is baller looking.
Yeah, he's got to get one too.
We have to mention Steve over at Gamers Nexus if we're talking about beards. Come on.
Yeah, that too, and the hair. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I mean we can't beat
It's
him with
the
hair.
whole
Sorry,
effect.
Brad.
I can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Brad. Not even in
Thanks.
running for the
Yeah.
competition. Anyway, I would
I
say
shave
that,
my legs.
Okay. Spoilers for tomorrow's article.
Brought to you by Yardzilla.
Yeah, you brought to you by Yardzilla. I love it. Oh yeah. Dan, Alex, you want to come in and wave to the camera? We also have our German team that are here from
Yeah, that's right.
PCWorld,
Yep.
which has been awesome to hang out with those guys. Oh no, he's not the German. Yeah, so Alex is manning all of the edits for all the videos,
Yeah.
and he's just been holed up in this actual room. We've invaded his room.
Sweet.
Yeah. We don't let him out of your case.
This is
No.
only the second time I've seen him this entire week.
yeah. No, but he's killing it. Dan is a freelancer. He actually used to work with us
Yeah, he
a
was
long time ago, and then I pay him now to come out and follow me around with a camera because Willis is off to doing important producer stuff. So he's been doing a lot, producing, editing, shooting, actually all of it, producing the podcast. So thank you, Willis.
Can
Yeah.
I dub myself? Not LeBron, but maybe the Steph Curry of the team, maybe.
The Steph Curry. All right, dropping threes. Yeah. And then our boss John already left, so sorry, you're not here to thank. Anyway, and the home base, of course. Elena in the chat,
Yeah,
all the
absolutely.
people writing.
No, they were big help.
The people
Yeah.
back at home have done some heavy lifting.
Yeah, they
like
really
we've
have.
been running around shooting them updates on our phones with
Yeah.
pictures and stuff and be like, hey, can you do something with this?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Elena, Catherine Ash. Yep. Mhm.
Yeah, killing it. So, and yeah, we'll back to the normal daily grind next week after hopefully some rest and recuperation. I don't know about you guys.
I think I'm still going to be tired on Tuesday, but I will be there.
Oh yes, no, like
As long as we don't get sick. That's the next
yeah.
thing.
I
That's
mean,
the
no matter
next
what,
thing.
the weekend, I usually
Yeah.
my body just shuts down
Yeah.
into recovery mode. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, but we will be back next Tuesday for the next episode. So anyway, thank you everybody, and we will get out of here. Take us out of here, Willis.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.